doing the rounds that last I heard from Wrestling Observer was that we could be looking at a situation where we get a rematch between Jon Moxley and CM Punk. Now, I don't know if that's still the case. I think it would be cool if it turned out to be MJF. So what we'll do, and I didn't get a chance to do it, but I will do it right now. Let's put in the chat, will MJF return tonight? Will MJF return tonight? We need some kind of title match for All Out, or will it be that we get some kind of rematch with CM Punk? That's certainly what Wrestling Observer was saying the other day. The plan is still Jon Moxley against CM Punk. So, I don't know. I just don't see how we get there. I mean, he's clearly injured. He was injured last week. He couldn't complete and compete in that match. And now all of a sudden, he's going to be back and everything's going to be good and he's going to be able to wrestle. And I don't know. I think it makes sense for MJF, but we'll see. Hello, everyone's saying hello. Did you see what Tony said on Busted Open? He said it's going to be the strongest roster, and people are going to have to watch to see what I'm talking about, says Daniel. Yeah, I've got it written down in my notes that I've scribbled. Strongest. I mean, that is awful, isn't it? I mean, you can I just say I wrote that at speed? I don't want anyone judging my handwriting. That is, yeah. I don't want anyone judging my handwriting. But we've got strongest and best roster after All Out. The new Daniel Bryan shirt, we'll take a look at that. The ladder match has been revealed. Those are the people that are in it. Claudio, Phoenix, Roosh, Penta, Andrade, Dante Martin, and the Joker. Not the Joker from the Batman films. Just a surprise. And then we've got, we will do some all-out predictions when we do this. So, yes, you're absolutely right. Strongest roster, apparently. What does that mean, Daniel? What does that mean? Who is coming to strengthen the roster at All Out? I've got to think that I have to go back to MJF. I think if you're going to have your strongest roster ever, then I've got to think MJF is on his way back. We know that Bryan Danielson came back. We know that CM Punk sort of back, but it might not be back. We don't quite know what's happening there. And I don't know who else is out injured at the moment, to be honest, but it feels Adam Cole came back. So it feels like a lot of the injury problems that he has had have been resolved. So, yeah, I think this has been a trying time for AEW, and I think that Tony Khan is looking to the future, and he's looking just a little bit past All Out. I must admit, the build for this All Out has felt a little weaker than builds for previous All Outs. Like, if you think All Out is their WrestleMania, it doesn't quite feel like we're building towards a WrestleMania. It doesn't feel to me like this weekend is AEW's WrestleMania. Maybe because Clash at the Castle has absolutely stolen the weekend. Like, Clash at the Castle is hands down generating so much more buzz, so much more social media traffic. It's so much more of my attention. And this isn't a WWE versus AEW thing. This is just why does this weekend not feel like it's the biggest weekend of AEW's year? And I think it's because of Clash, to be honest. If Clash wasn't happening, we would be a lot more focused on All Out, wouldn't we? We'd be a lot more focused. So, and, you know, WWE, not only have they put flipping Clash on Saturday, but they've also put Worlds Collide on Sunday, and they've, you know, chucked a few main roster stars on NXT last night, just so that can take up a bit of the conversation. And again, you know, does it just dampen the enthusiasm? Does it just dampen the kind of the press coverage that All Out is receiving or not quite receiving? Don't know. I mean, look, it feels to me like Triple H has chosen violence, but he's chosen violence in a very passive-aggressive way. So, yeah, we've got... Because I don't know if Worlds Collide was a plan. Like, I don't know if, like, when Vince was still in charge, if Worlds Collide was happening. I certainly don't know if it was planned on happening this weekend, as has been, like, revealed just a few weeks back. So, yeah, interesting. Ace WWE 2003. Shout out to you, my friend. I can see a Manchester City badge in your profile picture. And I would imagine that you are very happy this evening with the victory that you earned. I saw that Ariel Helwani was at that game, which I thought was kind of cool. For those of you that don't know, Ariel Helwani is a pretty big MMA journalist. And not only that, but he actually works for BT Sport. And he will be covering Clash at the Castle, hence why I believe he's in the UK now, so that he's here for Clash at the Castle. And also UFC are in France, so maybe there's a little bit of that as well. But yeah, cool. I really like Ariel Helwani. And he was at the game, but he was rooting for Nottingham Forest, so not a great night for him. Don't know if you also caught the other thing Tony said, which was tonight's go home in Chicago will be the most eventful go home he has ever been a part of. I did not catch that, no. Literally, those were my notes. So, no, I didn't listen to his Busted Open chat. To be honest, I don't even think we get Busted Open here. Isn't it on Sirius FM or something? And we don't get that. Maybe it's like a digital channel, maybe I could get it if I really looked into it. Perhaps I could get it via a website or something, but it's not like if you're in the car, you can't just turn to Sirius FM. No, it's not a station that I listen to. But obviously, you don't need to listen to it live, like the interviews get out there. But no, I didn't see that, so very interesting. Daniel's always bringing us the hottest slices of AEW news. Darren Till loves Ariel Helwani's nose, says Edwards. Breaking news. James Hello says AEW needs to be a big show tonight. If there were Big Show stands here, they would read into that and they would be like, he just said Big Show. That means Big Show is on the show tonight. But so I don't think you mean they need Big Show tonight. Or maybe you do. Maybe you think that is what is missing from AEW. Perhaps they need to get rid of Moxley, get rid of CM Punk. They need to get everything will be Paul White if they bring in the Big Show. No, I do agree. They do need a big show tonight. And apparently, biggest go-home show that Tony's going to ever have done, and that we will ever have seen, and that the world will ever have seen tonight. So any less than, in fact, right now, any less than the greatest wrestling show I've ever seen, I'm going to be disappointed. I will be, and I will want a refund. So, I'm in high spirits. I'm feeling good. I'm excited for the show. I think they will deliver. I think they need to deliver tonight. And I think they will, in all fairness. Like, if you put yourself in Tony's situation, this weekend is rammed full of wrestling content. You need to and you're the one that's charging, right? There's not anything really, not much of a fee for Clash, is there? As long as you're subscribed to Peacock, you can watch it. Again, as long as you're subscribed to Peacock, you can watch Worlds Collide, I believe. I'm sure you can. I'm sure it's on the network. So, yeah, you can watch that. But I think All Out's going to be about $50, isn't it? So, you're gonna have to do some work. You're going to have to make people, give people reasons to want to tune in. So, yeah, it's going to be Tony Khan in panic mode, said Steve. Ever since Triple H was in charge. Tonight is a go-home. Doesn't seem like many matches have been announced. The things we've got tonight, right? Can I just say, I love AEW and WWE being in a bit of panic mode because it brings the best out of them. So if you're sat there thinking, why are we reveling in this? It's because I expect Tony to come out swinging, and I'm sure you do as well. I don't expect Tony to just put out like a rubbish show now. I don't expect Tony to just roll over and die. Yeah, I expect him to come out like bringing the big guns, shocking us. Yeah, giving us something to get our teeth into, and that's what I want on a Wednesday night. Yeah, it's the midweek slump, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You've already done 2 days at work, 3 days in the office or work or school. You got another 2 to go. Weekend is in sight, but do you know what I mean? We need something to get us through. We need something to get us over the finish line, and hopefully he gives us that tonight. We're going to hear from Moxley, and that definitely makes me think someone could step up to Moxley. Definitely makes me think that someone, maybe an MJF or maybe a CM Punk, who, is upset about last week, is going to interrupt. So that will be a big segment. Ospreay and Aussie Open taking on the Elite. Great. I mean, I don't know if you saw them having a back and forth last week after the show had ended, but a really nice back and forth between Ospreay and Kenny Omega. And it's made me quite excited for this match. So we got that. Then we've got, I think, Hager against Danielson. So, I mean, Danielson's amazing. Hager, not so much. So, I don't know. Look, if anyone could get a great match out of Hager, it'll be Danielson. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Because Danielson's in it, I'm on board. So, we'll see. Then Storm and Shida taking on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. I have fast become a big Jamie Hayter stan, and so I always look forward to any matches she's involved in. Britt Baker as well. I don't mind Shida. Storm's all right. That'll be all right. So, in all fairness, what has been announced for tonight's show actually looks quite tasty. I'm definitely up for all of that. And, there'll be a lot more, obviously, segments adding to the all-out card as well. So, it's going to be a busy night. Busy night. Ariel, unfortunately, was banned from UFC ever since he leaked Brock Lesnar's return at UFC 200 against Mark Hunt. Dana was fuming. Has never spoke to him again, and he is banned. That is true, but he could still want to be in the area to do interviews with fighters, just kind of be around. Like, there's no way he'll actually be at the press conferences. He never is, as you said. But, I mean, the fact that he is in England, I think, is more for Clash. But, UFC is in Paris. So if he wanted to do any kind of sit-down interviews, he might be able to get those done in the days now building up to it, because it's nothing for people to come to London, or even for him to go to Paris from London. I mean, there is literally a train that goes from London into France. I think it goes to Paris, actually. And so you can get one train, goes obviously underneath the English Channel and into France. So he could easily get into France, do some sit-down interviews, jump on the train back, and make his way to Cardiff. So he's got options. It's not a million miles away. Asib said, if you're saying MJF could return tonight to challenge Moxley, that doesn't make any sense. Why would he be rewarded with a title match after attacking Tony verbally? I can answer that for you. The reason is because that was a storyline, and it's a storyline that has been completely buried by all the news that has kind of happened since. So Vince McMahon retiring has overshadowed it. The fact that Sasha and Naomi walked out has overshadowed it. Triple H taking over creative and a rejuvenated WWE has overshadowed it. Even what's happening with Clash this weekend. I mean, literally everywhere I'm looking at the moment, there's my Twitter feed is just full of just different things to do with Clash. BT Sports sending out really funny little videos of Damian Priest in Wales, or I don't know, there's just loads happening at the moment, but all of it pushes down the MJF storyline and the focus that we as fans are giving it. So to answer your question, it could be a case that they literally have to just drop that story and they have to just move in a different direction. There would be absolutely nothing stopping Moxley being in the ring, MJF walking out onto the entrance stage and saying that not only is he back, but he has negotiated with Tony Khan a new contract. And guess what, buddy boy? That new contract allows me to face you at All Out. Boom. Done. Simple. Thanks for coming. And, it does put to bed that old storyline. But in all fairness, if that old storyline is dead and isn't, gonna be something we can pursue, MJF against, I don't know, the Authority or whatever it was, then, if we have to just go in a new direction, then let's go in a new direction. The idea that he's re-signed, and part of that re-signing gives him a title match at All Out, I think people would buy that, no problem. Tony was going on about an AEW UK show sometime in 2023, a while ago. If he announced that this week, that could divert some attention. Yeah, well, there's been a lot of talk, actually, about them doing Fulham and, doing that stadium. The only thing is, football is full on at the moment. Full on at Fulham. It's very, very busy. So, I don't know when it's going to be free. Obviously, there's going to be a weekend where they play away. So there will absolutely be Saturdays coming up that the stadium is not being used. But I don't know, do you want to put a wrestling show on? I don't know what that does to the pitch, to be honest. Normally, they don't do concerts and things during a season. It's normally done after. They do, I think, NFL, but the way the new Tottenham stadium, first of all, they do NFL at Wembley. Wembley isn't a stadium there's no football team for Wembley. Wembley is our national stadium. It's where finals are played. So there's no football team that plays there every week. So you can do stuff there. It's not a problem. Tottenham have got a brand new stadium where they actually, the pitch goes. They actually remove the pitch, the football pitch. It goes into a car park or something. And underneath, I believe, is an NFL pitch. So they've actually built their stadium for NFL games. Fulham doesn't have that ability. So anything that happens at Fulham is going to have to happen on the pitch. And during a season, that could be a problem. I tell you what will be interesting, though. Do you know what I didn't think about, and I am just now thinking about? The World Cup. The World Cup is at the end of this year, and the World Cup, it means that football actually just stops for about 6 weeks because all the football teams obviously can't play because a load of their players are at the World Cup. So there is no Premier League for about 6 weeks. I think it's from end of November, mid-November to the end of December, something along those lines. So something along those lines. That might be a window where you could do something at Fulham, and then you could, because I know it doesn't have to be at Fulham. It doesn't have to be at Fulham. You could easily get the O2 Arena or something like that. But Fulham is his. It makes business sense to do it at Fulham. The first UK show as well needs to be quite a big venue because there'll be a lot of people that will want to go, and they could sell Fulham. I think they could do Fulham here in the UK. Fulham's not the biggest of stadiums. I reckon it's 20,000, 25,000, around that ballpark. It's a nice kind of Arthur Ashe type capacity that is achievable for AEW, but not too big. And in all fairness, look, it's their building. I mean, they own Football Fulham Club. So even if they don't sell the thing out, I don't even think they're going to be charging. They'll charge themselves £1 or something like that to rent it. It ain't going to be... Or they'll do mates rates, because I'm sure Fulham will want some kind of money for, hosting that event. But they'll do it at a heavily discounted rate, more discounted than any other venue they could find. So... I feel like Fulham has got to be the front runner for where AEW would do a UK show. But yeah, looking at where do you do it, because of the World Cup, the games are every weekend, every week, middle of the week, weekend, middle of the week, weekend, middle of the week. It literally leaves no time. And as I said, you can't do anything really on the pitch because it's going to ruin the grass, ruin the pitch. but you could do it during the World Cup. So that's interesting. Could do it during the World Cup. So, that could be a slight window. If not, of course, you could always do a different venue. I mean, there is nothing physically stopping them getting the O2 Arena or Wembley Arena or a different stadium, but I think they would want that. I think it would be a statement as well. I think they'd want to send a statement. I think he spoke a lot about doing the Fulham Football Club, so I think they'd look at that. So if I was to guess, I would say maybe during the World Cup they'll try and do Fulham, if it's going to be this year. If not, maybe they'll have something penciled in for next summer, and they'll do Fulham next summer when the football season has ended, like July time or something. It's a long way to wait, though, isn't it? But in all fairness, UK fans have been waiting 3 years now for AEW to come over, and because of the pandemic, they haven't. David Paul, shout out to you, said Utah versus Dante Martin versus Phoenix versus Roosh. A 4-way has been added. Doesn't grab me. That doesn't grab me just because all of those, I believe, are in the ladder match. So that feels like a match to advertise the ladder match. Unless there's a reason, unless there's a stipulation or something in there that can help them. I don't know. I don't know what stipulation you could add to that match. But, that's something that I hate with WWE as well. You know, like when there's an elimination chamber, they'll do, like, I don't know, a 6-person tag match with all the participants, like, in a match. But the match doesn't mean, it literally doesn't make any difference as to who wins that match. Doesn't matter if it's Team A, Team B, no one cares. Elimination chamber's got nothing to do with this tag match. And, it's just a bit irrelevant. I'm getting that sort of vibe from that 4-way, but I don't know, maybe there is a stipulation. I hope so. If there's a stipulation, then fair play. That's good booking. That's better booking. I'll be down for that. But, we'll see. Meant to be a big show tonight. How many times did Ospreay say bruv in that promo after the show? He did say bruv a lot. Bruv. I personally hope MJF never returns. Oh, drama. I personally hope MJF never returns. He's an overrated heel or babyface, and I think you should follow Cody ASAP for WWE. I don't even know what that means. MJF not coming back, he's too important to AEW. I wouldn't say he's overrated. I think his matches are so-so. I can't say... I've seen some good MJF matches, and I think that he will continue to improve because he is still young. But, I don't know. I haven't seen many matches that have really blown my mind, MJF-wise. So that would be a little area that I would like him to really focus on. But, his promos are great. I don't think you can take anything away from his promos. Very comfortable on a microphone. He's been involved in some of the best promos in AEW history and some of the best feuds. I mean, his feud with Wardlow was absolutely fantastic. So, but again, it's the promos that tend to carry the weight of that. I thought the match when they ended up having it was kind of a bit disappointing, a bit flat. But what was interesting was Wardlow said that everything that could go wrong around that match went wrong. Yeah, apparently, like, even Wardlow was having, like, personal issues at that time. So I think there was quite a bit of baggage and there was quite a bit going on that maybe we weren't even privy to. So, very interesting. An interesting interview with Wardlow kind of gave us a bit more insight into that time. I want to try and read as many of these as possible. Dort Knight said, I'm wearing a red hat, white shirt, yellow pants. Least you don't have to worry about what you are wearing tomorrow. You're wearing a red hat, white shirt, yellow pants. Why are you doing that to yourself? Are you in some kind of back-in dance group or something? Well, please respond. Are you like a greeter at a restaurant? You sound like you work at a restaurant. Yellow pants, white t-shirt, red hat. Hello, welcome to Jimmy's. Seems like you're doing something like that. Please respond, Dot Knight. I need answers on that one. MJF has to return either tonight or Sunday. Otherwise, the work shoot was a bust, and that would be a waste, says Trini. Biggest Halloween fan? Are you? Are you really? Halloween as in the films or Halloween as in the event? And I think I could find bigger on both, if I'm being honest. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know. Maybe you are. I'll tell you one thing, though. If you are the biggest Halloween fan, your profile picture is just white. And that makes me think you might have fallen at the first hurdle. If you are the biggest fan of Halloween, surely you don't have a plain white profile picture. Listen. I'm just saying what everyone is thinking. Yeah. Could you see Adam Page or Thunder Rosa in WWE under Triple H? They seem the most likely to follow Cody. Could I see Adam Page or Thunder Rosa? I mean, I could see both in WWE. I can see it. Do I think it will happen? No. I don't think it will happen. I can see it, but I don't think it will happen. If I was to say one of them, I would go with Thunder Rosa. I don't think Hangman... I mean, I haven't heard anything that Hangman has fallen out with the Bucks or fallen out with Omega. He's clearly fallen out with CM Punk, and there could be a bit of tension there, but tension enough to drive him to WWE? I don't think so. I think if the option became available, Triple H would love it, because it's another black eye to Tony, isn't it, really? Well, it would be seen as a black eye. Whether it was a black eye or not would be debatable, but it would be seen as a black eye. And I think Triple H would enjoy that. So, yeah, I think if the option became available, Triple H would take it. I don't think that option will be available. I don't think he will leave, to be honest. Thunder Rosa, I don't know. I think she's loving it. I think she seems to be having a really good time. Maybe not so much at the moment. With obviously, you know, the hate with Britt Baker, hate with Tony Storm, the sandbagging stuff as well. You know, there's, but I think like she's got good support. Like I think Dustin Rhodes is there. Dustin Rhodes seems to be a real mentor to her. So I think she is enjoying it at the moment. I mean, obviously, I don't know that as fact, but if you think about where she was. I mean, she was in NWA working on the indies. I mean, I was watching footage of her competing in front of like 50 people. And then, like, you know, she's at the NWA, and then she goes from NWA to AEW. And, you know, it's just the big time in it, really. If the option is there to go to WWE, would you turn it down? Because it is undoubtedly another step up. Because AEW's ratings are smaller than Raw and SmackDown. They don't have a show as big as WrestleMania. They don't have a show as big as Clash. They don't have a show as big as Royal Rumble or SummerSlam or the Saudi shows. Like, it's undeniable that WWE is bigger. It's debatable as to which is better. But it would definitely be a big step up. It'd be a hard one for her to turn down. I think it'd be a hard one for her to turn down. So I think of the two, I would say Thunder. Heel Santa said, did you see Malakai Black news? Seems somewhere he has requested his release. I've not seen that news, no. I've not seen that news. I did see that, I mean, he worked Rampage because it was Dark Order against House of Black. So, I mean, like, he's worked recently. But I can't say I've seen the news that he's requested his release. That's maybe one to keep an eye on. Edward said, hope you are well. I was in hospital. My nan was rushed in. Hopefully you're okay. I'm sorry to hear that, Edward. I hope everything's all right with your nan now. Obviously there wasn't, but I hope everything's all right now. Hello, Wrestle with Andy. Hope you're well. It's been 90 days since MJF's last appearance. Would you have thought it would have been this long when he cut that promo? No, I wouldn't have said 90 days, no. Because even if, because I think he deserved a break. To my knowledge, he hadn't had any time off since AEW began, and that was, 3 years ago-ish. So, him having like, a few weeks, month even, could definitely see that. But 3 months, no way would I have said he had been gone that long. It definitely raises the question, what's going on? it definitely raises the question, what's going on? But I think it's just been buried. It's so unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that some of the biggest things that ever happen in wrestling, Vince in particular, has happened since he went. I mean, the problem is when Vince retires, which he has done, and I still can't believe it's happened, to be honest. I still can't believe that we are living in a world where Vince is not in charge of creative at WWE. It feels, I don't know, it really feels like wrestling hasn't quite got its head around it, to be honest. It still feels like it's happened, and we're watching Triple H book the shows, and we're enjoying the shows, but I don't feel like we've fully accepted that Vince is gone. And that's it. And that's the end of the Vince era. I mean, people talk about the Attitude Era. They talk about the Ruthless Aggression Era. But, I mean, from the early 80s to this year was Vince McMahon's era. And it really, all the other eras are nothing in comparison to the Vince McMahon era. So what we have seen this year is just seismic. It's monumental. It's unfathomable. It's historic. It's, I don't know, you just can't use big enough words. And sod's law that happens at the same time this MJF story, you know. And of course, there's repercussions, there's knock-on events. So not only does Vince retire, but who books the show? Oh my God, it's Triple H. That's massive news. Because not that long ago, he wasn't even being allowed to book NXT. So massive news. And then obviously everyone's watching to see what he does. What he does is he starts bringing release stars back. That's massive news. And it's just this one news has caused these other massive news stories to happen. And it's all just burying the MJF stuff under a sea of, do you know what I mean? WWE news, really. It's just been an absolute crazy time. Crazy time. So no, I wouldn't have said 3 months. I don't know many people would. Or maybe they would. Maybe I was alone. Perhaps everyone thought he would be gone for 3 months. She's still in there. She had a bad fall, says Edwards. I'm sorry to hear that. Mind that, old people have bad falls. It's just something they enjoy doing. I mean, probably not enjoy, but it's just something that happens. So it's one of them, you know. They get into scrapes as they get older, these old folk. Hope you're doing well, said TLA Mark Bannon. I'm doing good, buds. Hope you're well. I just watched a Pro Wrestling Unlimited video saying that MJF's been removed from the AEW Fight Forever video game. What would be your thoughts? My thoughts would be that would be a good move for them to do, because if you are going to commit to the story that MJF is off the roster, he's had a big falling out with Tony, then you would take him out of the game. You would take him off your roster, like, you know, the roster that's listed. You would do all of those things. Now, obviously, you know, you can't necessarily just call them up, say, take him out the game, and they take him out immediately. A lot of these things take time, and there's processes to go through, and you've got to change the code and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, if he's not in the game now, this could have been a decision that was made weeks and weeks and weeks ago. I wouldn't really be reading too much into it. I wouldn't look at that as this is the definite end, or this is the end of MJF. Just like when the news broke about FTR not being in the game and everyone was freaking out about that. My first thought on that was, I bet they're DLC. You need some big names for downloadable content. The way that video games tend to work now is you get the game on the day of its release, and then a couple of months later, here's the first downloadable pack. It's an extra $5, but you get 5 brand new characters and all their moves. And it's just, you know, a little extra for the video game company to make more money, rather than just giving you the whole flipping roster when the game comes out, which is how games used to work. Now they like to drip feed roster to you. And, you know, you've got all these extra packs that you have to purchase. And by the time you've bought all the packs, the game price goes up to something ridiculous. You know, the base game could be, say, 50. And then, like, you know, by the time you've bought 5 extra packs, you're pushing like 75 that you've paid for everything. In a way, it's a cheeky way of getting you to buy a bit of a special edition, really. Do you know what I mean? They could just release it all day one as a special edition with all the downloadable content. And in all fairness, some games do actually do that. So yeah, my thoughts would be, I bet he is going to be one of them. I bet he'll be in a downloadable content thing. I bet that he is a massive name, that it makes sense because of the storyline to not have him included. And maybe it doesn't make as much sense to not have FTR in, but you could definitely do some fun stuff. Imagine a tag team pack and you get like, I don't know, Rock and Roll Express. Rock and Roll Express could be added, and you could have, obviously, FTR. Maybe the Briscoes. Maybe the Briscoes could come in because they've just signed with Ring of Honor. So there's maybe a bit of an opportunity to do a tag team pack. And then, MJF maybe is a heel pack or something, or Stars of Tomorrow pack. And MJF could be the headliner for that. So, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it. It's certainly interesting. And it's one of those that you look at and you file it away. And if it doesn't go that way, you can go, well, the sign was there when they took him out of the game. Because it is a sign. It is an indicator that something is happening. Clearly something is going on because he should be in that game. So it's interesting, but it could just be DLC. It could just be DLC. But equally, it could be an indicator that there's issues and that, he's not in the game or anything. So it's one of those. I mean, we won't actually know, will we, until this story has played out. Even the dirt sheets aren't saying anything at the moment, but could be DLC. I'm filing it as that at the moment, but interesting. Jake Campbell, shout out to you, my friend. Jake said, I'm so excited for Clash. It feels like the biggest event in a while. Do you know what? I totally agree. I've had quite a few people saying that it's not that big of a show, and I couldn't disagree more. I genuinely think this is as big as SummerSlam. I'm not going to say it's as big as WrestleMania, because WrestleMania was main evented by Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back. It's where we got Cody Rhodes. It was in a massive, stadium, 70-odd thousand, which in all fairness, that's what Wales is as well, like 60-odd thousand. But WrestleMania was 2 nights, whereas obviously this one is just the Saturday. So, yeah, I'm not going to say it's as big as WrestleMania, but it feels absolutely as big as SummerSlam. Absolutely as big as SummerSlam. So, yeah, I agree. It's a massive show. Jake said, I'm from the UK. It's going to be massive. Love the channel. I appreciate the kind words, dudes. Yeah, I really hope, I don't know how many people are watching or will see this, but I really hope everyone that's going, and I'll make sure to say this for SmackDown as well, I hope that everyone that's going has a fantastic time. And the one request from me would be make noise. Make noise. Make the UK proud. Don't sit there in silence feeling a bit embarrassed. Just know that when you go to a wrestling show, you are absolutely allowed to make noise. And no one, unless you're saying anything like, I don't know, sexist or racist or something like that, then yes, people are going to say something, and they should. But, if it's like cheering for your favourites, booing the people you don't like, whatever, no one's going to, tell you to shut up. And if they do, tell them I told them to shut up, yeah? So go and have fun, make noise, make the UK proud, and just be aware that you are part of the show. Yeah, so many crowds. In all fairness, it's hard, isn't it? Because a crowd is just a collective of individual people. So the crowd don't collectively think. It's all individuals, isn't it? So, the crowd can't really think itself. We're part of the show. We need to make some noise because it's all just individual people. But hopefully the UK crowds will realise they are part of the show. They can provide the atmosphere. I think UK crowds have got a bit of a reputation for bringing, an atmosphere, chanting away. Honestly, this could be like something you've just never seen. It really could be like nothing you've ever seen. You'd have to go back to SummerSlam 92 to see the last UK stadium crowd. So my hope, do you know what? I might even try and do a separate video on it. Might even try and do a separate video, which sounds crazy. But I think that because I'm in the UK and I know we've got a lot of UK WWE fans that follow this channel, I think that message could get out to the UK crowds on this platform and obviously other platforms. You know, Wrestle Talk could be saying the same. What Culture could be saying the same. All of these channels that are UK based, and not just the UK ones, but like, you know, other ones, I don't know, Wrestling with the Regret, Grimm's Toy Show, like all of these other channels, they could be saying the same as well. And that message would be, make some noise, make some atmosphere. Like, I don't want to say take over the show, because like people, you know, maybe there is a bit of a limit. You don't want to like hijack the show. You don't want to be like cheering to the point where the wrestlers stand there for like 10 minutes, not even being able to get going. But I must admit, those moments are great. Do you remember Roman after WrestleMania 33 when he beat The Undertaker? He was in the ring and the crowd booed him so loud. And for so long, every time he went to talk, he couldn't talk. And the crowd were just on him. Like, that is such a, to me, an iconic moment. Or what about when John Cena in ECW came out, One Night Stand 2006 against Rob Van Dam, came down, if Cena wins, we riot. Crowd booing him out of the building. He throws his shirt in the crowd. They throw it back. He throws it over the other side. They throw it back. They don't want nothing to do with John Cena because they are there for their ECW heroes, not there for WWE stars, and certainly not the face of WWE. So, like, you know, crowds can really provide some of the greatest moments. I mean, like, could you imagine Daniel Bryan without the crowds constantly yesing and, like, just being... Do you remember that? Oh, I can't even remember what show it was. But do you remember? I think it was a Raw, and I remember Triple H, I think, was trying to... I want to say it was the end of 2013, and Triple H was trying to talk about the two belts, because you had the World Heavyweight and you had the WWE, and he was talking about how one man was going to win both belts, and it was Orton against Cena, and one man was leaving with both, and they had previous champions in the ring. One of those previous champions was Daniel Bryan, and they could not do that segment because of the crowd, and the crowd were yesing away, and every time Triple H was talking, massive Daniel Bryan chants, and Triple H was like not able to like do his like speech, and it got to the point where Mark Henry, if you've never seen this moment, you've got to find it. But it comes to a point where Mark Henry gets so fed up, he just raises the hand of Daniel Bryan just so the crowd would cheer, get it out of their system, and then Triple H would be able to carry on. So it was a really good move, actually, by Mark Henry, because it did get the crowd to settle down, but then, of course, they built back up again afterwards. But, yeah, I mean, I love those moments. Those moments are fantastic, and I really hope that the UK crowd can... I don't know if they'll be able to provide those kind of moments, but I've got to think they'll be behind Drew in the main event. Who will they get behind? That's the problem, isn't it? Like, who are they going to get behind? It's got to be Drew, really, hasn't it? It's got to be Drew. He's from Scotland. He's in the main event. He's competing for the titles. No one's beaten Roman. Everyone there, I think, would like to say that they were there when Roman's historic title reign came to an end. So I could see them being firmly behind Drew. That's why I think Roman might get some cheers. Roman might get some cheers. I must admit, if I was there, I'd be tempted to cheer him. I think he's doing a great job. But I've got to think that Drew will be the one that gets... There'll be plenty of Scottish people there. They'll support Drew. And it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I wonder if at SummerSlam this was the same thing. I wonder if at SummerSlam, going into SummerSlam, because there was a lot of Bret Hart fans. UK loved Bret Hart. So, but I've got to think that they wanted the Bulldog. And the Bulldog was getting loud cheers and chants, and the crowd were with him, but you could sense that the crowd still really liked Bret as well. Like, it's not like Bret was getting booed out of Wembley. It was... I mean, he's definitely the right opponent because he gets the best match out of the Bulldog. I don't think anyone would have got as good a match out of Bulldog. So he was the right opponent, but it's a bit of a shame that he wasn't more of a heel. It was a bit of a shame that he wasn't, like, hated Bret more because Maybe if it had been Sean, maybe, I don't know if Sean would have got as good a match out of Bulldog. I don't think he would, because Bulldog was a mess during that main event match. He was a mess. At one point, he even says to Brett, I can't remember what we're meant to do. And Brett tells him and literally walks in, right, do this. Right, now we're going to do that. Now we're going into this. And he basically tells him the match as they're doing the match. Sean wouldn't have given a flip. Sean would have gone out there, done whatever, got the whatever, took the loss, fine, done, thanks. He wouldn't have cared. Even though he would have the ability to do it, he wouldn't have done it. Not 1992 Shawn Michaels that's just a kid, arrogant, just an awful person. He wouldn't have done it. But he would have been, if he had, that would have been perfect. Because he would have been able to have done as good of a match, could have carried Bulldog through that match, and would have been more hated, would have been hated even more. So, yeah, that could have been even better. But, man, it's hard to say it could have been even better because it's such a great match. But, yeah, interesting. That was quite the tangent, wasn't it, that we went off on? But fun conversation. It's all across YouTube live streams or just on the Days channel. What's this? Honorary Oos is the best thing on TV right now, says Brian. Apparently British Bulldog was drunk and Brett had to tell him what to do, says Charlie. I don't know if he was drunk, but apparently he was addicted to, I think it was painkillers. So he was heavily addicted to, I think it was painkillers. But he's probably been drinking as well. Absolutely. But he was not in a good place at all. I saw a rumour that the Joker at All Out could be a New Japan or an Impact star, says James. According to Darby Allen, he said that we will have a match for All Out announced. Don't know if Sting's involved, but he could be. Burn it down. What's AED? I don't know what AED is. AED? I appreciate it. I absolutely appreciate it, but I don't know what it is. Austrian dollars? AED, is that made up currency? I don't know. What's AED? Looks like Black and 4 other superstars are released. It was mentioned earlier about Malakai. Let's have a look. But he worked on Friday, didn't he? Just put in AEW news. And there is nothing on Google. So unless this is breaking news, could this be coming through Fightful? I do have Fightful select. Nothing on Fightful. Let's have a look, see if we've got Fightful select. Well, I'm not logged in on that. Let's go on here. Let's just have a look at this. We've got rumours swirling rumours. Malakai and 4 others released. Nope. Nothing on Fightful Select. Fightful has learnt that Eddie and Sammy have squashed their issues backstage today. We haven't learnt the context of what was said. PW Insider reported the same shortly before our post. Kingston and Sammy were slated to compete at AEW All Out against each other, but it was scrapped as Kingston was suspended. Eddie Kingston accepted full responsibility. We're told that Gavanna was planned for the pay-per-view in some capacity. Okay, so that's what's on Fightful. Let's have a look at Twitter. See what's happening on Twitter. AEW Full Gear info. Nothing on Sean Ross Sapp either. No, mate. Nothing that I can see at the moment. So you'll have to let me know where you've got that from. Because I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that none of the big hitters are reporting it. I will always listen to the fans. Their opinion's always the most important one. I hope at the end of the week the fans understand how much I care about them and pro wrestling and how important AEW is to me, says Tony Khan. Don't know, but can't see anything. Apparently it's fake Brian Alvarez tweet that people are falling for. Got ya. Wembley must hold either an AEW or WWE event, says Charlie. Well, I don't know if they tried to get Wembley and they couldn't get it. I don't know. But obviously, I wonder is there anything at Wembley this weekend? Don't know. I don't know why they went for Wales over Wembley. Wembley, everyone knows Wembley, don't they? I mean, Wembley, I think it's just world famous. It's got to be one of the most famous stadiums in the world. Anything that happens big time in the UK, big time, tends to happen at Wembley. So yeah, I actually don't know why it's not at Wembley. But I don't mind it being in Wales. I think it's great for Wales. It's kind of nice as well because Wales had SummerSlam. Now, Wembley had SummerSlam. Wales has got Clash. It might be cool if the next one's in Scotland or we do Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland would be great. I don't feel like Northern Ireland gets much love at all. Obviously very controversial. The history of Ireland, Northern Ireland, all of that. But I'm pretty sure the people of Northern Ireland would come together in celebration of welcoming WWE. Obviously, they do house shows over there and everything. So that would be nice if they was to do that. So I don't mind it not being at Wembley. If anything, I'd maybe look to try and do Northern Ireland or Scotland, which could be... people will travel. It's nothing for us in the UK to just pop over to Northern Ireland and go to that show. I heard a rumour they did try to get Hampden Park. They could do that in the future. Apparently Tyson Fury is confirmed for Clash, says James. Yeah, I did see this news earlier, doing the rounds, that he's now confirmed. Not the biggest surprise, but good. I don't know how you use him. I think it'll be very interesting if he is not been seen once the main event starts. If when the main event starts, that'll be interesting because that surely means he is making a save. Now, I don't know if that means he's making a save because Drew has lost and is being beaten up, or Drew has won and is being beaten up. I don't know, but it almost certainly means he's making the save. So, yeah, it'd be interesting. In my mind, I can see him waving the UK flag as Drew McIntyre walks to the ring. I think he'll be a flag bearer. I think it's a lovely callback to Lennox Lewis being the flag bearer for the British Bulldog at SummerSlam 92. So when the Bulldog comes out, Lennox Lewis walks out first and is waving the UK flag, the Union Jack. And I could see Tyson Fury just copying that. It's a lovely connection. It's a lovely callback. It's a lovely, just little, as I say, connection to SummerSlam 92. And I would love for Bret Hart to be, like, I don't know, guest timekeeper for that main event. I think if Bret Hart is guest timekeeper, that would be amazing. And then you have, so Bret Hart comes out first. Then you have, like, Roman making his way down. And I think you bring the champ out first this time. I know Roman's, the tribal chief, acknowledged me, all of this, but I feel like this main event, that UK crowd, it's all about Drew coming out, and Drew's entrance will be big, and it'll be Broken Dreams, and it'll be surely Tyson Fury with the flag, and it'll be this big on spectacle. Oh my God. The UK, man, getting some love in the wrestling world. Jim said, I can believe that Bulldog was nervous that everything he and Brett were supposed to do in the match became a big blank. Kevin said, my mom made some of Kane's poo-tang pie. I did hear about that, your mom. Your mom's quite known for that, mate. Undercover Manager says, has the Gypsy King going to come at the end and claim that it's his castle? And then you get Fury Drew at the next pay-per-view. I don't know that I would do that. Just because I feel like you want to end Clash with a big celebration pyro shooting up into the sky. I don't know that you want to end it with a confrontation. I don't know that you want to end it with, like, you know, Tyson staring at Drew. I mean, you could do it. Tyson, like, saying, I'm coming for that. And then he gets out the ring and leaves Drew to have his moment. And then the show ends with Drew holding the belts up. So you get the confrontation, but it still ends with Drew in the ring type thing. Yeah, I don't know. I really think this show ends with Go UK. I really think it does. And whether that's Tyson making a save and congratulating Drew, whether it's Drew winning the titles or Drew not winning the titles, Tyson making the save, Drew winning, but by count out, doesn't get the belts, but he beats Roman. And, you know, the commentators are saying he's the first person to beat Roman in however long. But, yeah, you know, Tyson makes the save, comes down, checks on him. But can you really set Pyro off? I mean, it would feel very Lex Luger, wouldn't it, 93? I've said that before. It would feel very Lex Luger 93. Lex Express, Lex Luger celebrating, having not won the belts. I just don't think you can do that. Everyone talks about how that was a bad move. They can't repeat it. They can't repeat it. It's why I think he's winning at least one title. I don't know how it's only one title, but he's winning at least one title. I'm sure of it. Every day that goes by, I get more confident. I was 60% yesterday. I'm 65% certain now. Just going up all the time. All the time. By the time we get to the weekend, it'll be like 120% that I will be certain that Drew's winning. We keep coming back to Wembley, Brett Davey match. Yes. Has anyone mentioned Davey Boy's son also being there? What, this weekend? It's been mentioned. It's not one that I am desperate for. Just because he wasn't there in 92. I would pop more if Diana Hart was there, his wife, because she was there and she was in the ring. And certainly I'd pop the biggest for Brett. If Brett was there, I mean, he was not only there, he was in the match. So Brett is the biggest connection. The next biggest connection would be his ex-wife, who got in the ring after Brett's sister. If she's there, that's a lovely callback as well. She gets interviewed before the match. I can't remember who. Todd Pettingale, maybe, interviewing her as, you know, she's talking about... There's a great line, actually, where he asks her, who do you want to win? And she says, to be honest with you, I don't care. I just want them both to be safe. One's my husband, the other is my brother. And... yeah, they end up having to cut her off because she talks for so long. But it's cool. It's cool. So if she's there, that would be great. If Brett's there, that would be great. If his son's there, yeah. But he wasn't there in 92. It's his kids. And it's nice. And it's nice that Bulldog's represented in some way. But I wouldn't do any more than just have him in the front row, to be honest. I wouldn't do any more than just, you know, a wave. Here's Jon Moxley. Right, here's Moxley. This could be a big segment, my friends. This could be what we call in the industry big. Here's Moxley. Moxley! With Raw doing strong numbers without Roman or a world title, Monday Night Football starts soon, and autumn-winter is usually when ratings go in a lull. Would be wise to bring back a title now. says Big Time Baxter. The Bulldog's going to win whether he wants to or not. Girl has got... I can't believe that's a girl. I think that was Wrestle with Andy, wasn't it? Was that Wrestle with Andy that revealed that shocking news that what I thought for all these years was a little boy turned out to be a girl? Yeah, they need to be there. They need to be there. We need to get them. You're absolutely right. This show, oh my God, this show needs to open with that person outside. Drew McIntyre's going to win whether he wants to or not. And it needs to be the same person. I would pop for that. Anyone that was there at SummerSlam 92 that they can use on this show, I'm going to love it, man. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, James. They need that person at the start. Imagine if they, like, pretty much copy the intro. So if you, like, played SummerSlam 92 intro, it looks, like, similar. Obviously not identical. You're not going to be able to get the exact same people for all of them. You don't need to. Just get, like, you know, kids now doing the same thing. But it's got to end with that person that's now grown up. The British Bulldog's going to win, whether he wants to or not. What a great line. What a great line. That's the kind of line that only a kid could come out with. That's a great line. It's one of the classic wrestling lines. Right, Moxley is in the ring. Thomas Morehouse. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to you. Right, Mox sign. That's Clash anyway, guys. We need to settle down, yeah? We need to settle down. Moxley. I know you love your boy, but they're still mopping him off the mat in Cleveland. So we're in Chicago, red hot crowds. Let's talk about it. I heard CM Punk described as the modern 60-minute man. Load of bleep that turned out to be. He's going in hard on Punk here. When guys get in the ring with me, we find out what they're really made of. And we found out what CM Punk is made of. We also found out what Effie is made of, didn't we, Moxley? He got in the ring with you. He had a lovely time. I was going to just keep coming forward all night. Something that Renee Young has experienced many times. He folded. He folded. Oh, it's like a heel promo, man. Moxley got a great reaction. Now he's getting boos. Few cheers, though. There's a few people... Didn't expect Chicago to be like, yeah, you folded him. CM Punk chants. Champions never fold. You don't know how sorry I am that CM Punk did not turn out to be what you wanted him to be. Ooh. CM Punk's a 3-minute man. Who sang that? Was that Missy? 3 Minute Man. I've got zero sympathy for CM Punk. Whew. CM Punk, fragile ego, weak mind, weak spirit. Oh, jeez. Jeez Louise. He's going very heavy here with a heel promo. He's got an open contract. An open contract for All Out. Who's answering the call? Who's answering the call? Oh my God! Who is going to answer the call? There's an open contract in the ring right now. Anybody, anytime. Jon Moxley has come out and just absolutely laid into CM Punk in Chicago as well. I think whoever is going to come out is going to get a really good reaction because of the heel work that Moxley has been doing. That contract is in the middle of the ring right now. Just remember this. When you step into the ring with Jon Moxley, I can out-marathon you. I can out-fight you. I can out-wrestle you. Whoever you are. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Who's going to answer the call? Who's going to come down? Sign that contract? He's talking and everyone's looking at the entrance ramp. In the background, you can see loads of people going, who is it? 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 Facing Jon Moxley might be hazardous to your health. Whoever you are, you've been warned. Moxley throws the microphone down. Contract's in the middle of the ring. Moxley's pacing around in a circle. No one's come out yet. Moxley's music is... Why has no one answered it? Why is no one coming out? Because no one wants to face Jon Moxley. So Moxley's music playing. He holds up the championship. Still in the ring. He's still in the ring. Contract's still on the floor. He gets out the ring. No one answered it. No one answered it. Here's a contract. Why did no one come down? This dude's coming down. Who's this dude? Backstage producers come down. He's angry, isn't he? Why is he so angry? Oh, calm down, mate. Calm down. Jeez. Need a main event, don't we? Jon Moxley's doing his best. He's very upset. It's going to be an all-out surprise. I wonder if CM Punk... I would be disappointed in my hometown crowd, says Shola. That man's got it. He has. He's answered the call. It's going to be that dude. Who the hell was that guy? He was a producer, apparently. Backstage producer. Dropped a little thing here, which I need to try and... There it is. Up next, Jake Hager takes on Bryan Danielson. Jake Hager taking on... Oh, we're backstage with Christopher Jericho. The Lionheart takes on the American Dragon. They will answer it during the main events. Please let it be Vince, says Edwards. Yeah. Needs to be Vince. You're absolutely right. He's held a lot of belts. Chip. So we're building to Jericho against Danielson, which would be a really fun match. Beating you this Sunday. Oh, here's Dante Martin. He's going to pledge his loyalty to the Jericho Appreciation Society. You're the greatest of all time. Oh, this was a bit unexpected. All you need to do is be the best version of yourself. Danny Garcia. With CM Punk. Oh. He's retreated Painmaker Lionheart. Where's Y2J? Brenton, hello. Hope you are well. I think MJF gets hinted tonight, but he will be revealed at the pay-per-view. That could absolutely happen, yes. That could absolutely happen. I smell a double cross. Yes. Let's change this over. The mic's cutting out. Is it? Keep going, Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson taking on Jake Hager. So Danielson will be facing Jericho this weekend. We did just get a little promo from Jericho. Moxley's speeches are weird, but also long and boring. He's only champion again because Roman is. It's unimaginative scripting by Tony, says John. Brent said Bryan is so likable. I agree. Hope you well, Brent. John read that. Chris said Danielson against Hager. Josie Styles says all of the male wrestlers should pack their bags and go home. Do you think Roman will win? Is going to win, or Drew this Saturday? I think Roman. No, Drew. I think Drew will win. I think Roman will lose. I would like it if they both somehow left with one belt each. That would be the ideal. Would be if they left with one belt each. But I just don't know how we get there. There needs to be obviously a big announcement made on SmackDown or on Clash itself in order to explain how that's going to happen. Nice to see Hager wearing his boxer briefs. Yeah, it's not the best attire, is it? Skin tight, leopard print, pink, purple. More purple, isn't it? With like sponsors all on. Hager trying to close down the ring space, but Danielson grabbing a hold of the leg, gets driven back into the corner. Hager looking to go to the midsection. Big body shots by Hager. So big shots, and Danielson slumps down. Danielson gets thrown across the ring by Hager. Danielson against Chris Jericho this Sunday. So guillotine being applied. And down to one knee goes Hager. He's back up on his feet. He's picking up Danielson. Danielson lands down on his feet. Hager charges over, goes in between the ropes. Against the ropes goes Danielson. Suicide dive. And Hager goes crashing into the barricades, into the railings. Danielson has got Hager in his sights, charges over, jumps onto Hager. Hager drives Danielson into the table, the announce table, or the timekeeper's table. And the table collapses. Millennial said, here in Spain, there's a group of about 30 people that are going to Wales. It is a huge event, not for the UK, but for the whole of Europe. That's a really interesting point, actually, you know. Never thought about that. I think it's because it's questionable how many WWE fans there are in Spain, Italy, Germany. There are fans. Whenever they come and do like a tour, they always do France in particular. I don't know if they do Spain, to be honest. They have done Spain, but I don't know the last time they did Spain. But yeah, that's a really good point. Have a great time. And again, I would say exactly the same to you. Make noise, have a great time. Don't just sit on your hands. You are part of the show. Cheer loud, cheer for your favorites. Boo the people you don't like. Join in with the chants. Like, really make a noise, really make a racket, and really make Europe proud. And do you know, it'd be great, actually. I was saying about how they could do a show in Scotland or Northern Ireland. Why can't they do one in France? Why can't they do one in Spain? Why can't they do one in Italy? Like, I would love to see them go and do shows in those countries, because I think SummerSlam 92 was massive for growing the brand in the UK. I think that really did help. Obviously, their relationship with Sky was massive, but I think doing that show was a real big statement. And, you know, I mean, UK fans have always looked back at SummerSlam 92 with fondness, and certainly that main event. That main event does a lot of heavy lifting. But imagine the impact if they did it in France, for example. I mean, they go to France anyway, and I think they've got a good fan base in France, and France has got a good population. It's about, what, 50 million, something like that? 40 million? I don't know. It's a good number of people, let's put it that way. Hollywood Guy, shout out to you, says, Days, don't hate me. Oh my God. Here we go. Roll the sleeves up. Here we go. But Drew wins the title. Theory cashes in and takes the belt, causing massive heat. I hate you for that. I can't see it, just because it'll cause heat, but there's no payback for the UK fans. So, yeah, it causes a lot of heat. The fans go away disgruntled, can't believe it. Drew was robbed. But it's not like they're going to come back to the UK seemingly anytime soon to set it right, if you know what I mean. It's not like... I think this show is so different, unique, and separate from other pay-per-views that I think you have to treat it really as its own entity, its own all-encompassing show. In a way, it's a bit like you need to have a... I feel that you need to have a bow put on top at the end, yeah? You need to have it all nicely tied up, everything sorted at the end. No cliffhangers, nothing like that. This is its own show. Just like how SummerSlam was its own show. You know, you had the undercards, main event, Bulldog wins, no, drama. No, did he really pin him? Did he not pin him? It was a clean pin, nice and clean, new champion. They celebrate together. Boom, done. And I think that's what this needs. With Theory cashing in and the crowd going home like disgruntled, I just don't see it. I think he'll tease it. I don't think he succeeds. But feel free to come back and say, I told you this was going to happen. If it happens, I don't think it happens. I think he comes down. I think he tries. I think he fails again, just like SummerSlam. And just like we said it would happen at SummerSlam. Jake Hager in control here, showing off the guns. But Hollywood Guy, I don't hate you. At least not any more than I did before. So, Daniel said, I just found out from Twitter that Backstage producer that opened up the contract is the original trainer for CM Punk when he was getting into wrestling. And that happens to be Backstage. That's interesting. That's probably why he was so disgruntled. I doubt the UK will host AEW until the new Craven Cottage Riverside stand opens in 2023. Oh, is it not? I thought it was open. I actually thought it was open. I didn't know that it wasn't finished. I thought they'd got it done for this season. So, yes, I agree. They would definitely look to capitalise on that. Daniel Bryan going up top. And missile drop kick. Down goes Hager. Hager goes down. Missile drop kick by Bryan Danielson, who's starting to get back into this contest. Crowd are getting on their feet, applauding Bryan Danielson. I think Drew wins. He celebrates. He leaves. 5 minutes left, and then Bray returns, says Kane. If all goes well for Clash, do you think WWE might make the UK an annual event? It depends how well. If it's a massive success that does great ratings, big ticket sales, big merch sales, social media metrics are through the roof, then why would you not look to repeat it again? That would be my response. But if it's so, then I don't know. Maybe you leave it another 30 years. I don't think there's any guarantee they make this a regular thing. The one thing I will say is I think that BT Sports seem to be a bit more vocal than Sky Sports were. Sky Sports were not as vocal, seemingly, or not as successful. Triangle by Danielson. Yeah, they weren't as good at convincing WWE to put on shows in the UK. They got some, but it weren't stadium shows. But BT Sport, they've took over, and there just seems to be a bit more activity now. I think it's BT Sport that got us this show. I think BT Sport, I could be wrong, but I think BT Sport played a big part in convincing WWE to do this show. I think they wanted a show of that scale in the UK, because I think they pay a decent amount of money to show it in the UK. Ankle lock applied here by Jake Hager. Middle of the ring, Danielson reverses, looking for the crossface, and he's got it applied. And there it is. Jake's trying to get over to the ropes. He's trying to get the ropes. He's desperately reaching. Just falling short, and he grabs the ropes. Taz says those long... That's a good point by Taz, actually. Taz says those long limbs can help you, but for a submission specialist like Danielson, it can also be a problem because it's a lot for him to target. Chop coming in there by Danielson. Danielson running over. It's a good match, this is. Crowd really into it. Danielson again coming in. Gets caught by Hager. Boom! Planted down. Roll over by Danielson. 1, 2. He running over, goes through a clothesline. Danielson. Oh, flying knee. Flying knee. 2, 3. There we go. The American Dragon. Amazing. So it's a victory for Danielson. Here comes Daddy Magic and his friend. They've done well, haven't they, since they came over 2.0? They were used very sparingly in NXT. But they've been used very well here. Now we've got Claudio coming down. Yeah, we've got everyone coming down. It's a big brawl. It's a big melee. Melee. Do you think Theory will cash in at the castle? I think he will try. I don't think he will succeed. I don't think he actually cashes in. I think he's going to keep that briefcase. I really believe he cashes in on Cody at WrestleMania. I don't think we're anywhere near the point of Theory being champion. I think Theory's about to go into a feud with Johnny Gargano. I can't see that being for the belt. So I don't see it. Garcia takes the chair away from Jericho. So Garcia takes the chair from Jericho. And flying knee by Daniel Bryan. Jericho had got in during that big melee. You say potato, I say potato, but I don't. And Garcia, who said that he was firmly with Jericho, has just cost Jericho. Unbelievable. Danielson with his arms in the air walking away. Do you think MJF accepts Moxley's challenge? I really don't know. I mean, I thought someone was going to accept earlier, and no one did. Seems like no one wants to face him. So, yeah, I think there's probably a good chance of it. But Meltzer seems to be suggesting the plan is still going to be CM Punk, or at least he was saying that the other day. We've had over 700 votes. Over 700 votes, which is cray-cray. Really close. Does MJF return tonight? Do we see MJF tonight? Yes, 45%. No, 55%. That is close. People seemingly very torn as to whether we will see MJF tonight. Yes, 45%. No, 55%. AEW has gone to commercial break. And we are done with our first match of the evening, which we've heard from Moxley. We've still got Ospreay and Aussie Open against the Elite, and we've still got Storm and Shida taking on Baker and Hater. That was a really good opening match. Didn't mean much. Didn't really matter who was going to win. And I must admit, I do struggle with those matches. Those matches that are just there to kill a bit of time, build towards the show. Do you know what I mean? They're just filler, really. But it was still fun. Crowd were really into it. Good. Nice open. Set up the show well. And actually, half an hour of the show's gone already. We're already a quarter of the way through this show. Amazing. Sunny, hello Sunny, hope you're well, says there's a duck emoji in the Discord server. His name is Greg. He wields a knife and he protects the Discord server. Good. I'm pleased that we've got security in there now. Do you remember the so-called MMA fight between Hager and Wardlow? I do, yeah. I do. It was a good cage, and it starts off all right, and then it just kind of really descends into things that you just wouldn't really be seeing in an MMA cage. But, yeah, I do. I like the idea of Drew celebrating with 5 minutes and then the Fiend attacks Roman, says Jaden. You see, I don't like that idea, if I'm being honest. I really think that it has to end with Go UK, not Go Fiend. I know the Fiend would still get a great reaction from the UK crowds, but I don't think it's not right that Roman's title reign ends and someone else closes the show. That's not right. That's, in my opinion, bad booking, because if Roman's 2-year title reign is coming to an end, then the person that ends it needs to be the one that stands tall at the end of the show. It would be a little bit like, ending the streak and moments later having someone come back. Like, we ended the streak. Yeah, it was on the same show as like Daniel Bryan and whatever, but we ended the streak and we let it breathe, and there wasn't anyone that came back or anything like that. It was just a case of the shocking moment was allowed time to breathe. So I wouldn't be doing like Drew wins, ends Roman's title reigns, and then we bring not even about the Fiend, anyone. I don't care. I wouldn't have anything like take that spotlight away, if you know what I mean. We've got give wingmen more time. Let's touch tips. Here is Big Cass, or Morrissey is back. Is he going to be the new signing? Is he joining the wingmen? Oh, right. JR just said, I heard earlier today that Morrissey was close to signing a deal. So Morrissey's making his way down. We got the wingmen in the ring. Are they going to be taking bumps? Feels like you would have the wingmen get chucked around. Is this a match? Yeah. They get clothesline. They go down. J.D. Drake with a chop. Gets caught, looking for a choke slam. Boom. Gets planted. Here is Stokely Hathaway. Looks like Stokely Hathaway might be interested in signing Morrissey. There's not much of a reaction here. I don't think there's much of a reaction in chat, to be honest. Big boot. Morrissey comes out, screams. Gets a gentle applause. Avalon has got up to his feet. I just don't really understand. I mean, Peter Avalon then was like, oh my God, no. And then out of nowhere, took his shirt off and then got ready to, like, fight. I don't know, man. Some real overacting there. Some real, like... And the crowd goes mild. No one was bothered, says Anna. There's that. A lot of that. In fact, there's a lot of this. Peter Avalon sucks, says James. Edward makes a good point. I don't believe that. Tyler Africa, I do not believe that. I will not have liars in the chat, Tyler. Let's read it anyway. Edward makes a good point. I don't believe that. I'll try and move on. You can't take away Cody's WrestleMania moment, especially after his injury. That's bad booking. You can't take Cody's WrestleMania moment, especially after injury. That's bad booking. No, disagree. It's good booking, and let me tell you why. It's good booking because everything is all about Cody getting to the title. This is the whole story of Cody getting to the title. And what you think is the final destination in that story is not the final destination in that story. What you're actually doing is you are elongating the story. You are moving the final destination. So he will be champion and he will have a fantastic title reign. It's just not going to happen when you think it's going to happen. You think it's going to happen at WrestleMania and you think that he's going to win the title. And oh my God, he does. And oh my God, here's Austin Theory to absolutely ruin it. And so what we do then is we do a feud between them. I don't know if it's SummerSlam or at what point you want to do it. He finally gets the belt and keeps the belt. So for me, it's not, I mean, like, I can look back in history and say, you can call it bad booking, but they did the exact thing for Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan is one of the biggest success stories in recent years. If you look at Daniel Bryan, everyone wanted him to win the title. We get to SummerSlam. It's him against John Cena for the title. He wins the title. Everyone's going crazy. Big celebrations. Daniel Bryan is the champion. Gets cashed in on. SummerSlam 2013. Look it up. It's exactly what happens to Daniel Bryan. And then the end result is that he's cheated out of it, of course. The crowd, all it means is the crowd want him to win it even more. So it just adds fuel to the fire of, oh my God. Like, this guy, like, they've given him the belt, they're screwing him over. Everyone will think that Triple H hates Cody. That's what you want people to think. You want people to think that Triple H hates Cody. You know, if I was Triple H, I'd even play into it. I'd even have Triple H come out and say, look, you know, it was unfortunate, but we have to move on. Like, he got the belt. His dream came true. But, you know, look, we've got a hungry roster and there's other people that want it. And that will have people saying Triple H is getting a laugh here. He's having a laugh. Triple H is screwing Cody Rhodes. And that's exactly what you want. If you're the booker, that is exactly what you want. You want to swerve people and make people think that he is being screwed, and you want people upset, and you want people angry, and all of that kind of stuff, because when he does get the belt, it will be an even bigger reaction, a big release of relief that he has finally got to the mountaintop. And so I would do that at WrestleMania, but then he wins the title outright at, say, SummerSlam, something like that. And that is a leaf out of the Daniel Bryan story from 2013 into 2014 that works so well with Yeselmania. Right, Baker and Hager taking on Storm and Shida. Oh, look, another belt. Oh, she got it, has she? The Shida belt. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the D Women Championship or something. Genuinely, I think it is called something like that. The D Summit Championship. Shida is in red. Storm is in red. The Magic School Bus. Don't even know what that sign says. The Magic School Bus something. Hager in the ring right now is over in the corner, being held by Shida. Tony Storm going up top. Double axe handle to the back. Ronnie said Roman could just keep the belt with the longest amount of days. So his still has a historical run with one title. Maybe Sammy does a run-in with Owens, and we get Usos versus Owens and Sammy. Maybe. The Regina D Wave Championship, says Chris and Corvid. Thank you. I didn't know it was called the Regina D Wave Championship. D something I remember. Or is it Die? Is it Die? Die? D-I? Die? Die! Die Championship. Trip on the outside by Hager, who's reining in shots. Pounding away. Look at Hager going to work here. Referee having a word. Those clubbing forearm blows. Britt Baker in the ring, grabbing Tony Storm. Baker kicking Tony Storm. So Baker has grabbed Tony. Hager is distracting the ref as Britt Baker has got Tony Storm wrapped around the ring post. DMD. A little DMD to the camera. Drew wins, gets attacked by the Bloodline, only for Sheamus and Brutes to save him. Not Tyson, says Kane. I guess let down would be an understatement. But with Samoa Joe's rumoured return, will he be the mystery opponent? Or at least a joker? He could be a joker. I don't think they'll put him straight in the main event. I don't know that they've built him up enough. I mean, Samoa Joe is cool. And if his music hits, I think people will be like, oh, this will be good. I think people would buy it. Oh, okay, Samoa Joe, this would be good. It could work. It's not. There's a little asterisk in there. I can't be the only one that's like, yeah, it's Samoa Joe, he's cool. And it could work, but has he been built up to that level yet? Are we... I actually wouldn't mind Moxley against Samoa Joe with a good build. Samoa Joe against Moxley with a decent build, I think could be a really good match. So, yeah, I'd be a bit conflicted, to be honest. I'd be like, yeah, I'm into this. But then I'd be like, is it? It's not MJF, is it? I think that's what I'd be thinking. I'm into this, but it's not MJF. What do you think of Tony Khan's book in the last few months? I think he's had it difficult, isn't he? I mean, I feel a bit sorry for Tony because he's had a lot of injuries. I think, right, as much as Tony is cringe, and he can do my head in sometimes, I think that he genuinely does want to please wrestling fans. I think he genuinely loves wrestling, and I think he genuinely tries to put on the best product that he can. And I think that he does try to do that. And I do applaud him for that. And I think that this period that he's been in has been an exceptional period where he has genuinely lost some of his biggest stars. So I think we'd have to look at this period as not being a highlight for AEW. But it's questionable as to, what really else he could have done. We don't know the truth with the MJF situation, of course. But I thought the MJF Wardlow story was booked quite well. I thought it worked for the crowd, didn't it, Have the ring announcer make a mistake, name match for WWE title, have no one correct it through the match on Raw. Roman takes the Universal belt, pointing out the mistake. So, so what do you mean? So the ring announcer says the following matches for the WWE Heavyweight Championship rather than for the WWE Undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship. And so then have Roman say the ring announcer said it was only for this. I would have, if they did that, I'd have questions because we know that contracts are involved and surely it's more important what's in the contract than what the announcer says. It's an interesting thought, though. It's an interesting thought. It's definitely something that I think wrestling fans would debate as to whether they liked it or not. We see so many contract signings. My first thought would be, what's the point of a contract signing if a ring announcer can just make a mistake when he's announcing, and apparently that is now legally binding. That's more legally binding than the contract. The fact the ring announcer made a mistake, I'd be leaning towards, yeah. Just honestly thinking about it, I'd be like, don't know. I really like the creativity of it. I like that. But I think because we see so many contract signings, I'd be like, surely that's what the match is for. Both participants go in knowing that this match is for both. I don't know that Roman would get away with saying, oh, the ring announcer only said it was for one, so it must have only been for one. I like it, though. I like the creativity. Let me put it that way. Pin by Shida after she hits the katana. There we go. She didn't do it by chance. She did it on purpose. So at AEW, we've got Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida taking on each other in a fatal four-way. Who will be the interim women's champion? She's got Katana written on her face, hasn't she? I do like her. I do like the name on the face thing. I do like that. That'll be a really cool figure. When Jazzwares make that Hikaru Shida, that as a figure will look amazing. We're just seeing Kip Sabian, underrated, over it. Here's Kip Sabian. You fell for the simplest of ruses. I get it, kid. You have pestered me and you have badgered me. So we're just seeing Pac go into different promotions, and Kip Sabian was there in his with his box head. Is that announced for, is that All Out, is it? Pac against Kip Sabian? Let's have a look. Pac against Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian finally shows his face. Big talking point. All Out 2022. Wow, I didn't realise we had so many matches. Jon Moxley against To Be Determined. Jade Cargill taking on Athena for the TBS title. Ricky Starks against Powerhouse Hobbs. Jungle Boy against Christian Cage. Swerve in Our Glory take on the Acclaimed. I didn't know half of these matches. Bryan Danielson against Chris Jericho. I knew that. Casino ladder match. I knew that. Toni Storm against Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida. I knew that. Six-man tag. Wardlow, FTR taking on Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal. I knew that. The final for the AEW World Trios Championship. We don't know who that is yet. And on the pre-show, Ishii taking on Eddie Kingston. We still don't know what Sammy's going to be doing. Sammy Guevara. Still not on this card anywhere. Got to get him on. I mean, do you know what I mean? I feel a bit sorry for him, because I think because he's a heel and because people don't like him at the moment, he got a bit of a rough ride with the whole him and Eddie thing. I think Eddie's so popular, everyone was siding with Eddie. But Eddie's took responsibility, said, look, I was in the wrong. But they were meant to have a match, and now they're not. Eddie's on the cards. They're saying that Sammy will be, but it's a bit of a shame that he hasn't got anything yet. So I don't know. Perhaps he'll be the Joker. Do you think he'll be the Joker? Perhaps he'll be the Joker. Or does he answer the call and we get Moxley Sammy? How would people feel about that? I mean, where else are you going to put him? Joker, or maybe he answers the call and faces Moxley? To your point, who has been built up as a contender? Seems like Danielson, Punk. Other than that, MJF might be the only logical choice. Wardlow would be if it wasn't for recent bad booking. That is true. Yeah, I mean, there's not tons of options. What about Sammy? I think I would feel the same, to be honest. I think if Sammy was the one, I'd be like, oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I don't mind this match. Sammy. It's big heel, isn't he? It's one of their bigger heels. Taking on Moxley. But it's not MJF. I'd be thinking that. I think I'd feel the exact same. But I could see Ty Conti getting involved on the outside, trying to trip over. Oh my God. Imagine if Ty Conti's on the outside, tripping over Moxley, and then Renee Young comes down. That would be sick. That would be so good. That would be so good. Ty Conti tripping over Moxley. Out of nowhere, Renee Young jumps over the railing. Oh, that'd be so good. Just a one-off. That'd be so good. Do you think Rampage will improve if it was live? Yes, definitely. That would make a big difference, yes. I can't even with Darby, says Alexis. I just can't even. He could interfere in Jericho Bryan match, says Christian. That's true. Sammy would be better in WWE. Corvid said MJF is not main event level. He's already lost to Moxley twice. I don't understand people trying to put him in the title match. I think it's because he's been involved in some massive angles. And I do agree that he has lost a lot of feuds. But, and wins and losses matter and all of that. CM Punk now. Wins and losses matter, but I think that you could easily tell the story that he's renegotiated the contract and that contract allows him a title match. CM Punk's music's playing. I don't know if CM Punk's going to be here. Have to think he would be on this show. We are in Chicago. Here he is. CM Loser! I gave my all, but I'm rubbish. Here he is, CM Loser. I'm gonna cry because I lost. Chicago, I let you down. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Here he is. Punk's not limping. It looks he's crying. He looks like he's crying. That's what he looks like. CM Jobber. Look in my eyes. What do you see? A guy with one foot who got grease last week. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. I like it, Corey. I like it. CM Chunk. No limp, says David. His heels. His heels. I bet he went backstage and Tony Khan put his hands on him. Just worked a miracle like Jesus. CM Punk. CM Punk. It's hard to feel sorry for Punk. He's such a natural heel heat magnet to me, says Trini. We are joking, by the way. All you Punk fans that are watching, we're just having fun. Do you know what I mean? Wednesday night, innit? It's only wrestling. Come on. He's going to cry. Here we go. He broke his foot. I've pulverized the bones in my foot. He got surgery. 3 plates and 16 screws? How did he break his foot? Does anyone actually know how it broke? When it broke? Oh. Was he pointing at someone in the crowd? I don't know if there's someone in the crowd that was giving him like yeah, you probably shouldn't have said that. Came back too early. I got beat up in Cleveland. Where's this going? It's not the first time I've been beat up in Cleveland. Is my foot 100%? Yes. But it's a new 100%. Where's it going? Where's this going? So that's a really interesting line. Is my foot 100%? Yes, but this is a new 100%, and I don't know if it's good enough. I came back because I love this business, and I love you fans. You do love me back. That's why it hurts. To feel like I let you down. I couldn't walk Larry for 2 months and it hurt because I let him down. I see my sister in the front row and I feel like I've let her down. He has, in all fairness. He has. Let's let him down. Let's let everyone down. He's struggling here. He's struggling. This crowd is weird. They're not making as much noise, are they, as what you would imagine for CM Punk? Maybe that love isn't enough anymore. Hey, here's this dude. What is this? What are you saying? This is not what we said you was going to say out back. This isn't you. Hey, Steele said, I'm sorry for interrupting this promo, but I trained this man. You fought through everything. I had a career that I was proud of, but I'm most proud of yours. This Ace Steel guy's quite good. I like him. There's a sign in the crowd that says pay MJF. We are family. They've both got like tears in their eyes. You didn't let Chicago down. You filled an arena on just a rumor that after 7 years you could be coming back. Do you know, that's true, actually. Do you know what? You guys are a disgrace. You guys are a disgrace. Calling him CM Loser, CM Chump. Absolutely unbelievable that you would treat this man this way. What a wonderful person CM Punk is. I'm disappointed in this community. Did he just say the F word? You effing get up. You're going to sign this contract, so it is going to be CM Punk. No, he just slapped him in the face. He just swore as well. You effing get up. I swear he just swore. He slapped him in the face. Why is CM Punk being slapped in the face? If you forgot who you were, tell him, Chicago. CM Punk. CM. Sign it. Sign the contract. Sign it. Sign it. An F-bomb. Yeah. Takes his jacket off. Gives him a kiss. And that has fired him up now. Here we go. They've been trying to kill me since the day I was born. No one's been able to do it yet, and Jon Moxley, you ain't him. Goes down into the crowds with... Jon Moxley, you're a wild thing, but you're not wild enough. There's a baby! There's a baby! Someone's got a baby! There's literally a baby being held in the air. He should have grabbed that baby. I wonder if he could have got the baby. Could you imagine if he got the baby? He said, can I just hold the baby for a second? You're going to have opportunities that I never... And then, like, started talking to the baby. That could have been amazing. I will pump the blood until the blood doesn't stop pumping. We are Chicago. CM Punk's in the crowds. And he's going to sign the contract in the crowds. Lone Star said, this is ridiculous. Give someone else a shot. Who brings a baby to a wrestling show? That is true. I mean, it was a proper baby as well. Not like, 2 or 3. Like, they look like, I don't know, 6, 7 months. Well, there we go. Meltzer was right. It is CM Punk against Jon Moxley. Do you know what? Chicago is to AEW what Philly was to ECW. Let's get a gauge of what people think. Let's end our MJF poll. We're going to start a new poll, and we'll see what people think. What do you think? Hang on, let's reword it. Do you like the fact CM Punk will face Moxley at All Out? So think about everything. Think about last week. Think about the fact he came out crying. Think about the promo you just saw. Think about everything. Yeah. This is how it's played out. Do you like it? Do you like the fact that it's Moxley Punk at All Out as the main event? Do you like the fact CM Punk will face Moxley at All Out? I want to make sure it's worded right. There we go. Thoughts. I didn't expect the F-bomb. I don't know if they expected the F-bomb. I have no idea if that F-bomb was cleared or if he just was in the zone, because this Ace Steel, to my knowledge, has not cut a promo on TV, AEW before. He might very much have just been in the zone. I mean, there were reports that the network want them to cut down on swearing and blood and everything. I don't know that F-bomb was meant to be there. I don't know. Punk was fat-shamed in 2022. Now that it's Punk, it will be confusing. If he does win, fine, but why have him lose on free TV? If he loses, he gets beat by Moxley twice. Does MJF now lay out Punk at the end of All Out? I don't like nor dislike Punk Moxley. It was their only option, but they devalued it with what happened last week. Why wasn't last week the main event is the new Who Threw the Pie at Kevin Owens. What do you think of Ace Steel's promo? I mean, I liked his promo. I don't know if that F-bomb was intended or not. It was certainly unexpected. But I must admit, as soon as he came, I thought you didn't know where CM Punk was going, and I didn't know if he was about to retire, clearly hinting at that. And as soon as Ace Steel came down, you knew it was all a work and that we weren't retiring and that this was heading in the direction it was heading in. So I would say when he first came down, my initial reaction was, okay, this is clearly all scripted and I think we know where we're going now. But his actual promo I thought was very good. Very good. The one thing though is I think seeing CM Punk be like so down and dejected, and then seeing the transformation of, I mean, like he came to the ring saying, "I think I've let Chicago down. I think I've let my sister down. My ankle is 100%, but it's a new 100%. I don't know if that 100% is good enough." To go from that to I'm in the crowd signing a contract. I am the blood of Chicago. Like, Jesus Christ. Do you know what I mean? We did a complete 180 in a very short space of time. We went from 0 to 100 in a very short space of time. And I don't know if that was a believable... to be honest, I look at CM Punk as being a bit unhinged right now. I think he's a bit unhinged because he went from absolute lowest at the lows, I'm about to retire, to, "You're not the one, Moxley! You're not the one! I am the blood of Chicago! I'm going to pump through the arteries of Chicago! Chicago is CM Punk town! They've tried to kill me from day one! No one can kill me!" Like, we went from 0 to 100 in the space of not much time at all. So I would say Ace Steel's promo was very good. I can understand it sparking a response, but geez Louise, that was quite a response. Quite a response. I don't know. I feel like that promo had too big of an effect on CM Punk. I think he went a bit OTT with it. I think they tried to create a moment with him in the crowd, CM Punk. I think they wanted the crowd going mental. The crowd didn't ever seem to be quite there, which is really strange. I don't know. I agree. I think just Nick mentioned earlier, this is a bit of a weird crowd. They were cheering, make no mistake about it, and there was CM Punk chants, but that segment seems to have been designed for this crowd to be losing their flipping mind. And don't think we ever quite got to that level. And I agree. I think, last week made sense if CM Punk wasn't going to be able to be at All Out. I do look at last week with a lot of questions now as to was that the right thing to do. Yeah, I must admit, this is an interesting... I think AEW hardcore fans are going to lap it up, absolutely love it. The bee's knees type situation. Are these jobbers, by the way? I don't even know who they're facing here. I'll go jobbers. I don't know who they are. So, yeah, I think AEW fans are going to love it. I think if you are someone that's like, I can take it or leave it type thing... which I think is what I am. I'm not an AEW hardcore fan. I don't watch Dark. I don't watch Elevation. But I do watch Dynamite every week. I think it was a weird reaction to Ace Steel, who fired him up. But I think the reaction was a bit too big. And I also think having him lose last week and lose because his ankle gave out. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it a week ago. And he's come out now and said he's 100%. So why am I meant to believe he can do it at this weekend? This was exactly what we said last week. How is a CM Punk that just lost in 3 minutes meant to come out a week later and convince me that he stands any chance at All Out? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. I mean, we're in Chicago. It is CM Punk. It does make sense. He is one of their, if not the biggest star. I think it's undeniable. He's probably their biggest star. So in that perspective, you go, he should be in the main event, but I don't think this is the right story. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm very interested. Get your thoughts in. I want to know your thoughts. Now, reorder the segments a bit. Had Moxley did that promo at the end at Punk came out, the roof would have blown off. People still would have been confused about last week. Last week is a sticking point. Yes. Punk no selling the injury. Well, he says that he's not injured and that his ankle is 100%. It's just 100% is an old 80%. His 100% now is not what 100% was in the past. I tell you what I do like about it, right? Because I do like something about it. It has absolutely got wrestling fans talking about whether they like it or not, which I don't know if that's a good conversation for us to be having, but it's a conversation we are having. It's not just a predictable route. They've absolutely gone down turns that I wouldn't have gone down. I'm sure many of you wouldn't have gone down. They've gone down them, and now that does provide us with the opportunity to go, was that good? Was that bad? Do we like it? Do we not like it? And as I said, there's going to be AEW fans out there that are going to lap it up. They're going to love it, right? And it's going to play well to that audience. For us that are like a bit more, we watch the shows, you know, we watch it for what it is. I can definitely find things to criticize with this. I can definitely find things to go, not sure about that, not sure about that. At the end of the day, CM Punk Moxley is probably the right main event for All Out. That's what I keep coming back to. It probably is the rightful main event. It's just a very unorthodox, weird way that we're getting there with him losing last week. Because how am I meant to believe that he stands any chance? This is what I just keep coming back to, yeah. Let's have a look at the poll, and then we'll jump into the chat and see what you lot are saying. So, wow, look at that. Look at that. Do you like the fact CM Punk will face Moxley at All Out? 300 votes, 50% yes, 50% no. So if you're sat there going, oh, like that, it seems like the wrestling world is doing that as well. 300 votes, 50-50. That's where we are. That's crazy, isn't it? 50-50. Wow. Big Time Baxter said, it does make last week seem desperate for them to get over 1 million. Corey said, Mox seems to want to do indies and what have you. I doubt WWE wants a guy working weekend wrestling with Effie. Shola said, the Chicago crowd have let AEW down. Tony Khan must be fuming. Corbett said, do people just not pay attention to storylines? Why? What makes you say that, bud? What makes you say that? Alexander said, another Wednesday, another horrible episodes. Higurashi says, I'm going to say yes. It might make it seem more better, but I do agree. Had it been him going into the rematch, they may go and tweak his ankle angle. So you think that his ankle will play a part in the rematch? I would have to think so as well, yes. I'd have to think so as well, because he just lost in like 3 minutes last week. I don't think we can now just ignore that in the rematch. Moxley's making his way down. This story's developing. AEW feels like a cross between WCW and ECW, says Wrestle with Andy. I definitely think they took their inspirations from those shows, and of course WWE. Okay, Moxley in the ring. CM Punk wants to go out on his shield here in Chicago. CM Punk, Jon Moxley, one more time this Sunday. So CM Punk, Jon Moxley this Sunday. Crowd cheer. If you think you've got one more miracle left in you, you better find it fast. I'll put on a display. I'll put on a show. It's a big Moxley sign in the crowd. I actually think Moxley has got a fair bit of support here, you know. It's cheers for Moxley. They're not booing him out of the ring, you know. There's a dude in the front row that's doing that to Moxley in Chicago. Mental. There is, it's not a 50-50 crowd. I think it is more CM Punk, but we do not have CM Punk in Chicago taking on a monster heel. This is not CM Punk MJF. This is face versus face. And even in Chicago, it split the crowd to a degree. If Moxley is peeved that Punk said, why did he wait until after Punk had left and a squash match before he came out? I was too angry, Anna. He was absolutely fuming. He was backstage, just he couldn't even gather his thoughts. I don't know who's this dude. We're Dark Order forever. Andrade is smashing a crutch over Evil Uno. What was that? What was that? I don't even know what that was. Did he have a... Did he just threaten him with cattle prods? Or did he actually shock him with the cattle prod? Because if he shocked him, the dude in the mask didn't seem to react. I think he might have just threatened him, like, don't get up. You stay there. I think he just threatened him. Andrade feuding with Evil Uno. El Toro Blanco. Roosh. What's this? This is that Fatal 4-Way, innit? This is Fatal 4-Way. So we had FTR Wardlow won that last match, squash match. Now we've got, God, who is it? What, Dante? I don't even know what's going on anymore. Dante Martin versus Roosh versus maybe Penta versus maybe Phoenix. Don't know, I'll change it. We'll see who it is and I'll change it accordingly. Mox was doing a poop and he could not roosh. We've all been there. We need to sell some pay-per-view buys, says Corey. Jungle Boy is getting a name change. Is he? Here is Phoenix. Ray Phoenix. Ace says there is a society is not... Ace says there is a society is not JAS. What does that mean? What does that mean, Richard? There is a society is not JAS. He didn't tase him. He just threatened him. That's all right. If he just threatened him, that was fine. The sound came out and it felt like, because the one guy had been attacked, it looked like he was tasering him and the guy was just sat there. So it seemed like he'd tasered him, but I could believe that he hadn't. Utah. Phoenix always gets good pop, says Master Chief. I believe All Out has got about 400 tickets left. They were part of a combo, but they're now breaking them up to sell them off, says Alexis. Whoever is over right now seems a bit cold. In hindsight, Cody's departure seemed like the best timing, said Dragon Den. Jason said, I'm not hyped for All Out. I don't know, man. A lot of people in the chat right now seem to be a bit down on where we are. And I don't know if that is a fair reflection of everyone watching. I have to think probably not. Just because our poll was 50-50. I don't know what it is now. It's still 50-50. It's still 50-50. That's mental. Still 50-50 in the poll. Do you like the fact CM Punk will face Moxley at All Out? 50% yes, 50% no. I don't mind the cards. I'm gonna say I don't mind the cards. I think looking at the cards, right? Moxley CM Punk, I think, has been a bit strange with the builds. I think it probably is the rightful main event. I wouldn't have got there the way we've got there, but I think it is the rightful main event. Jade Cargill against Athena, I can take it or leave it. Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, definitely into that. Jungle Boy against Christian Cage. It's had a big focus, so it feels like it belongs. Swerve and Our Glory against the Acclaimed. Yeah, I really like the Acclaimed. They've grown on me more and more and more. I love the raps, the entrances, obviously. The scissor me stuff, I mean, I can take it or leave it, but it's pretty fun. But yeah, them taking on Swerve and Our Glory, that should be all right. Danielson Jericho, I think's great. Casino ladder match, it's got a purpose, hasn't it? Winner gets a title shot. Down for that. Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Akari Shida, that's for the interim title. Down for that. 6-person tag, not really bothered by. I didn't watch Impact, so Motor City Machine Guns, I understand, are a great team. It's not a team that does anything for me personally, but I think it's good. I'm down for that. It's FTR in it. Wardlow, I love those guys. Motor City Machine Guns, I've got respect for. And Jay Lethal, I really like, so I'm down for that. Final of the Trios, down for that. And then Ishii, Kingston. I think it's actually quite a good card. So I don't know that this show has hyped me up anymore for it, but I think it's a pretty good card anyway. I think the bottom line is, would you rather watch that card or just not do anything on a Sunday? Because, we don't tend to get wrestling on a Sunday, and it's all out. I would imagine that it's going to have some shocks in it, maybe an MJF coming back, something along those lines. So, we'll see. So, yeah, I think the card looks all right. Oh, hello, some woman having a right go here at Roosh. Some woman in the front row, Roosh with a little smile on his face. Grabbing Wheeler Yuta, chucking Wheeler Yuta in the ring. Aubrey Edwards is in the ring. I don't know if this is her first ref duty of the evening, but it's the first time I'm noticing her. Before I'm striked by Wheeler Yuta. The Stick Wrestler creator, shout out to you. I thought we was in for something special, the way Tony Khan was hyping it up, but this is not very good, says James Chadwick. I'm glad to see Motor City Machine Guns, says Grant. The last AEW pay-per-view without a great build ended up being a great show, being Forbidden Door, says Daniel. I would rather not pay $50 for it, though, says Airflow Games. That's true. It is hard, isn't it, to get people to spend that kind of money? But I think they've got a dedicated fan base that's big enough to ensure that they will be guaranteed X amount of buys. So, Jungle Boy is going to be known as Tarzan. Oh, I hope not. She reffed the squash match. To be honest, I didn't see a great deal of that. Right, we've got multi people in the corner. Phoenix goes to the outside. Wheeler Yuta's up top. Do you realise the Trios final, the FTR 6-man tag and House of Black Derby Sting is on All Out? That is 3 6-man. House of Black Derby Sting, I don't know if that's been announced, but it's not on the Wikipedia page. At the moment, we got 2 6-man, the end of the Trios, and yes, the FTR Motor City one. That'll be a lot of 6-man tags if they do add a third one to it. I'm sure All Out will be good, but this isn't making me more hype, says James. What have I missed? Motor City Machine Guns tonight? No, you haven't missed them tonight. No, we're just chatting about the cards. We're just talking about what All Out's got. Missile dropkick by Wheeler Yuta. CM Punk letting us down is like Sting trying to sign the contract and didn't answer, says Richard. All Out match of the night. Starks against Hobbs. Stinker of the night, the Trios final. Shock of the night, MJF returns to lay out Punk. Agree or disagree? I'll go disagree, only because I don't know that the trios match will be worse than Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill Athena could be the stinker of the night. MJF is so hard to predict because we don't quite know what's going on. So I feel like he likely returns at All Out. And if he comes back at All Out, does he go after CM Punk? Does he go after Moxley? Does he go after Wardlow again? That one's a bit tricky to predict, but I think there's definitely a chance with that. So yeah, I'm in the same neighborhood as you. I'm in the same neighborhood. I would just question as to whether the trios would be the worst match or if maybe Jade Cargill. And then MJF, I'm really unsure. But I think he does come back at All Out. I didn't know if it would be tonight or All Out, but I feel like we're close. I mean, look, Tony's come out and said that after All Out, they'll have the best roster they've ever had. Got to think that includes MJF. Right, we've got Martin on the outside looking to go up top. The reason MJF has been gone so long is because of Punk's injury, says Corvids. Grant said All Out will be even better than Mad Max. Grant, don't start. Don't start, Grant. I had that yesterday. They might be great films. I have no idea. I've never seen them, right? I've never seen them. But I feel like Phoenix just collided his head into Roosh there. He just came crashing down and like they seem to like hit heads a little bit. Yeah, I was trying to do a podcast yesterday about Clash at the Castle, and the person I do the podcast with was absolutely intent on talking about Mad Max in 2022. So I definitely had enough of that yesterday. Lovely little pin there by Yuta. Yuta gets the pin on Martin, and it's a victory for Wheeler Yuta. Crow Sting and NWO Sting, NWO Hogan is one of my favourite storylines. The match sucked, but the build was great. Every Monday, waiting to see if Sting would show up, says Kevin. Do you think Wardlow has Goldberg vibes? Not anymore. I think they were purposefully giving him Goldberg vibes. You know, him like coming out and no music and the Wardlow chants, Wardlow. I mean, there is absolutely no way that his character, when he was in that feud with MJF, was not being kind of discussed as Goldberg-esque. There's no way Goldberg has not been mentioned. Absolutely the inspiration, but I don't know if it feels as Goldberg now as it did. I actually wouldn't go down that road too much. Goldberg's been done, hasn't it? I think Wardlow should be his own person, really. But, leaning into it when you need to, or leaning into some other characters from the past I think it's fine. I ain't got an issue with it. We got Hangman. Man going to be the partner on Rampage. So Hangman and Dark Order are taking on Orange Cassidy and Best Friends. So does that mean that Hangman and Dark Order they're going to take on the Elite? That's the final. I expect the Elite to win tonight. I expect Dark Order and Hangman to win. And then we get the Elite against Dark Order and Hangman for the final of the trios. For the Ring of Honor Pure Championship on Rampage. Also, All Out on the buy-in show. We've got Ishii taking on Eddie Kingston. That is going to be on the buy-in show, announced just the other day. Also, we have got Pac taking on Kip Sabian for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship at AEW All Out, as well as we got the FTW Championship. Hook is taking on Cool Hands. We've also got Bryan Danielson taking on Chris Jericho at Hart taking on the American Dragon. We've also got the AEW Interim Women's World Championship. Toni Storm taking on Britt Baker, taking on Jamie Hayter, taking on Hikaru Shida. We've also got a trios match. House of Black taking on Darby Allin and Miro. We've got Jay Cargill taking on Athena for the TBS Championship at AEW All Out. Jungle Boy takes on Christian Cage in a clash of enemies. We've also got taking on Jay Lethal, and also incoming Impact Tag Team Champs, we've got the Casino Ladder Match, where we're going to be seeing Claudio, we're going to be seeing Penta, Phoenix, and more, including a Joker. We've got the AEW Championship, Swerving Our Glory, taking on some opponents. We've got the Casino Ladder Match again. Now we're going back to Swerving Our Glory. They are going to be taking on the Acclaimed. We've also got Ricky Starks taking on Powerhouse. That is going to be a clash of enemies. And of course, we've got the final of the Trios tournament. Oh my God. Look, it's just like, I don't know how he does it. Jon Moxley against CM Punk for the AEW World Championship. Can you imagine the breath that he has to take? Can you imagine the breath? I don't want anyone ever saying that Excalibur does not deserve to be commentator of the year just for the fact that he has to do those video packages every single week. Just for that reason alone, he deserves to be commentator of the year. As soon as he gets to it, he must be like, oh God, here we go. That one was extra crawl as well. That was so long. And they botched it as well. I don't know if you saw, but we went from the tag belts into a different graphic, back to the tag belts, back to the graphic we'd been to. So not only is he having to go, but also like they're actually botching around the graphics they're showing as well. Poor Excalibur. I should imagine right now he's just in his chair, passed out on the floor, with pervy William Regal coming up to him. Oh, I love you, man in the mask. Oh. He's got to be passed out now. Excalibur is like Eminem's Rapid Fire verse in Rap God. I heard that Rap God was based on Excalibur. I heard that song is all about... A lot of people think Rap God is about Eminem. It's actually about Excalibur. And the little thing that he has to do every single week to promote Rampage and next week's Dynamite and any other kind of shows they've got coming up. Jason said 14 matches. WTF is wrong with Tony Khan. Guys, this weekend, make sure that you have got your pajamas. Make sure you've got your sleeping bag. Make sure you've got a tent set up. Say goodbye to your loved ones. Get yourself a thermos flask. You're going to need some canned goods. Yeah, you're going to need things that aren't going to perish. Basically, what you want is you want to prepare for like a nuclear fallout. I would imagine the pay-per-view is going to go so long that when you do finally see your family again, they might not even recognize you. So 14 matches. We could be snuggling up to 5 hours. I think we tend to go over 4. I think we do 4.5 for the main show, and then you've got like the kickoff show as well. So it's going to be long, man. It's going to be so long. So yeah, there ain't going to be any squashes there. I really don't think there's going to be any squashes. Pack a lunch, says Rando. I said trios finals would be the worst because they will get a lot of time. Don't think Jade Athena will get the 10 minutes. I think the women's 4-way might be a run for a stinker. That's fair. Lots of wrestling this weekend, and college football is this weekend, so I'm watching that as well. Corbett said pay-per-view going long is a good thing. Why would anyone want less for their money? Because you get burnt out. for me, there gets to a point, and this is not AEW, it's just wrestling in general. But once you start getting like 3.5, 4 hours, I just think like you've seen such action and there's been such high spots that I start to get to the point at the end where I don't have energy left to really get invested in the show. I start to get burnt out by the show. The show just keeps going. You see, the thing is that fresh wrestlers can come out and do their thing, and they can just constantly keep doing that. And the show can go for ages, and everyone can get in their spots. But it's not even like it's 3.5 hours of a nicely paced building show. You know, it's building its way up to the main event. AEW starts hot, stays hot, and the whole thing is just every match tries to outdo the one before, which just honestly leaves me shattered. I've got to the end of AEW shows just not giving a flip about the main events and just like, I just want it to end. I just want this to end. When's it going to end? My thoughts turn into, when is this going to end? More so than, right, you know, I'm feeling fresh, I'm feeling good. Main event time, here we go. And maybe that's got something to do with streaming. Maybe that's got something to do with like talking for that amount of time. Because I've got the same criticism for WrestleMania 35. WrestleMania 35, I just didn't give a flip by the time we got to the women's match at the end. It's too long, which is why I much prefer WrestleMania being over 2 shorter days rather than one day that's so long. Right, we're moving on to this trios match, which I think might be our main event. In fact, it will be. We've got just over 20 minutes to go. North Carolina. Omega and Young Bucks versus Ospreay and Aussie Open. Here is Kenny Omega. 7 matches with story behind them is better. I feel the same way for every AEW pay-per-view. I get the arguments against long pay-per-views. I do agree mostly. At the same time, aren't you supposed to be exhausted at the end? It's only a few times a year. I don't think you're meant to get to the end of any show wishing that it ended. That can't be a good thing, can it? I think if you pay $50 for something, you should get, obviously, your money's worth out of it. But quantity is not what I look for. It's quality. I look for the quality of the show. An amazing 3-hour show that I'm going to shout about, talk to people about. Just incredible action, incredible moments. I didn't want it to end. I mean, that's something people say, isn't it? Oh, God, it was so good. I just didn't want it to end. I mean, I do not feel that way about previous AEW shows. I want them to end. We've got Ospreay in the corner. He's going to start, and so is Omega. Wow, we're starting off with both guys. We've got Ospreay and Omega kicking us off. Shoulder tackle. Smile on the face of Kenny, who pushes Ospreay away. Ospreay getting into the face of Kenny. Against the ropes goes Kenny. Shoulder tackle. Ospreay goes down. He flips back up. Kips up. Forearm strikes. These two trading blows. Let's get rid of that. I don't think we need our poll now. Do you like CM Punk facing Moxley at All Out? 53-47. Say yes. 53-47. Big strikes coming in by Ospreay. Down goes Omega. So there we go. There is our result of the poll. 53% say yes. 46% say no. Days All Out is scheduled to be 8.5 hours long. I mean, we joke, but I seriously think WrestleMania 35 was about 7 hours somewhere. Because I think there was a 2-hour kickoff show and then about a 5-hour something main show. I think it clocks in at 7 hours something. It was insane. It was insane. Takedown by Nick Jackson. Young Bucks go over the top. They get caught, and Young Bucks get driven into Kenny. Ospreay's going up. Looks like he's going to do a moonsault in position. Oh, comes crashing down. It's a corkscrew. And he does come crashing down onto Kenny. If you get hurt tonight, you probably won't have time to be 100% for the weekend. In all fairness, is that not a disadvantage for those that are facing on Rampage? Because, you know, that's going to be a quite a contest, I would imagine. And if they get hurt, they're not going to be 100%. Far from it. They've got, 48 hours to recover? Wow. Saying that. It's taped, isn't it? Saying that. It's taped. It's a fair play. That would be the problem if it was live. If it was live, then you would only have 48 hours to recover. Picture in picture. Big back body drop. Ospreay gets chucked onto the entrance stage. He, for some reason, jumps down. Gets caught. I feel like he only jumped off the entrance stage just to be in position to be landed on. Ospreay just checking on Matt Jackson. At the moment, the Elite are in control. In the ring goes Ospreay. I think we are picture in picture at the moment, so they're just making their way back to the ring. James said, this is only 3 minutes in, and it's already getting this is awesome chants. What are they smoking? Brandon said, I agree, but I will also offer my famous counterpoint. How often are the AEW pay-per-views? Pay-per-view numbers and gates do really well, so who are we to argue? I think if the TV shows were calmer, it would be fine. I don't know. I know how I feel about it. I don't want to tune into a show that I feel burnt out from. I don't want to tune into a show that feels like it is a mission to make it through it. Even if the show is great all throughout, there's only so much that you can take on boards. For me, around that 3 hour, 3.5 hour mark is what I look for. That I can cope with that. I can stay active, involved, enthused. But once we get into 4 hours, once we get into certainly 4.5 hours, heaven forbid we get to 5 hours, I'm out. I mean, all I would say is it's clearly not a problem for everyone. But it is a problem because even CM Punk commented on it in the post press conference of, was it the last show? He said about how long the show was. So it's one of those that kind of splits opinion. It's just really down to if you enjoy watching a show of that length or not. I just don't buy the argument that in order to get your money, it has to be that length of time. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. A lot of people only buy boxing events for one fight. A lot of people only buy boxing shows for the main event. They don't really care about the undercards. It's all about seeing Fury against Dillian White, Joshua against Usyk. It's all about buying it for that. They don't give a flip what's on the undercard. It's about quality over quantity for me. So, if people, I don't mind if people feel different. Honestly, I'm not bothered. I can, if you can watch a show of that length and not get burnt out and feel that you love it all, that's that. I mean, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's great. I know I can't. Maybe because I'm a boomer. If I was younger, if I was a sprightly 18-year-old, perhaps I could watch 5 hours and just get to the end of it wanting even more. But I'm a very bitter 21-year-old now. Do you know what I mean? I'm a very jaded 21-year-old. Seen a lot of wrestling in my time. Kenny coming in and making the save. Mitchell said, I think Rampage is live on Friday. What? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. They've only got 48 hours to recover. In all fairness, though, a live Rampage is what they should be doing because anything can happen when it's live. Oof. Big move there by Matt Jackson. Face first, slamming. I think, was it Ospreay that just got planted? Tag, in comes Kenny. Kenny is in there with one of the Aussie Open guys. Looking for a double axe handle. Kick to the midsection. Against the ropes goes Kenny. Duck underneath, round the back. Against the ropes again. Oh, basement drop kick. Takes the legs away. Working on the base. Taking the foundation away. That's lovely. Leg drop to the back of the head. And kick out. How many matches are on the pre-show? I only know of Kingston. If 3 of the 14 are on the pre-show, it might make it a bit better. 5 hours is too long, though. I do agree with that, Sis Brenton. At the moment, just 1, according to Wikipedia, but that, of course, can always change. Over the top goes Ospreay. Mega is in the ring. Ospreay still holding on. I thought he was going to skin the cat, but he hasn't. Oh, he has. There we go. Skins the cat, comes in, super kick to Omega. Looking for a springboard stunner. Suplex. Ospreay lands on his feet. Nice head scissor takeover. Now he's going to go against the ropes. Ospreay is going against the ropes. Kenny is ready for him, though. Yeah, Kenny was ready. I'm glad he didn't take that. You could actually see, if you looked at the left-hand side, you could see Kenny, like, doing a bit of a, come on then. Like, saying, I'm ready for you. So I was watching then to see if he landed on Kenny, because Kenny had definitely made an indication he was ready. Thankfully, Kenny, or rightfully Kenny, moves out the way, gets the advantage. Good. Good. I like seeing that. Snapdragon says, erase your mind. Jade Cargill's match would fit well on the pre-show, says Corvids. It would fit well on the pre-show, I agree. I think there is Fight Forever chance. Up in the air goes Omega, delayed superplex from the top. 1, 2, got about 10 minutes to go. Mania was 7.5 hours long. Oh, God, dude, honestly, I still wake up screaming. This match card has got 14 matches for All Out. That's the highest number of matches in AEW history. Double or Nothing had 13, and the show ended and a 5:45. Could we be there longer? I don't know. I don't know is the answer. It's a talking point, and it's one that clearly, I think you can tell from our chat, people feel differently on. So there is not a general consensus. I know how I feel about it. I'm sure you know how you feel about it. And it'll be whatever it'll be. I think if you go into an AEW pay-per-view, though, you shouldn't be surprised now that it's long. I don't think you should go in thinking that it's only going to be 3 hours. Yeah, I think if you go in thinking that, that's on you. I think AEW have done this enough now for you to know that it's going to be a longer show. David said most AEW Sunday pay-per-views are on a holiday weekend in the US, so that could be something, says David. That's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. That means that people can stay up, not have to worry about school, work the next day. Which is good. That's a clever thing to do, isn't it? Mega down in the corner. According to Wikipedia, there's 3 on the pre-show. Kingston, Hook, and Pac Sabian has been added to the pre-show. Oh. I swear it didn't say that earlier. In fact, I can prove that it didn't say that earlier. Because on mine, it only says 1 on the pre-show. You see the little P next to it. So I don't know if that has now changed. Let me refresh it. Yeah, it has changed. That has actually changed during the show. So they've added. In fact, Hook and Parker wasn't even on there. Was Pac and Kip Sabian on there? Was Pac and Kip Sabian on there? I can't remember if Pac and Kip Sabian had been added or not. Don't know. Either way, that's been updated during, which makes sense, doesn't it? As matches have been added and announced and things. In fact, it did say Moxley against to be determined. And now it says Moxley versus Punk. Where are we? 9 minutes to go. TBD versus TBD. That is going to be a great match. Well, also feel like you got your $50 worth, also says Jeremiah. It has now changed. How many matches? 14. 14 is where we are. Knee to the midsection by Ospreay, and he's putting a stretch on Omega. They took the shirt off. That shirt that provides support to Kenny Omega, and they're doing an abdominal stretch. Good, because if there was only one match on the pre-show, that's a long time to preview matches. Drew has confirmed that there will be a return of Broken Dreams. I would have been stunned if it hadn't at this point. I mean, he keeps tweeting out the flipping lyrics. So could you imagine if he didn't? La 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 la. There's just like some tweets about those releases, but I'm really unsure if it's true or not. It's from a source I've never heard of. Takedown. Over in the corner goes Nick Jackson. Big kick to Ospreay, who's on the outside. Over the top. Boom. Down goes Aussie Open. It's all elite at the moment. DDT on the outside. Clash at the Castle seems to be built like a takeover, which is cool, says Mitchell. What releases? I have to stress, this is from Banana Williams Unpeeled. I don't know. Last week's talent meeting went over badly. Murphy wants out. Andrade, Miro, and Danielson. I can't see Danielson wanting out. I'm really struggling to believe that. It's just something that's doing the rounds on social media at the moment. But it's not come from any... It's not a Meltzer, a Sean Ross Sapp. It's... Nah. I'm really struggling to believe that. Against the ropes goes... picked up. Sit-down powerbomb by Ospreay. I've seen some main events that have left me feeling like I wish it didn't end, said Higurashi. According to Lassen Cornet, there was a split reaction to Omega in the talent meeting. Omega's camp loved it, and others could see right through it. See through what? See through what? Kick. Knee strike. Inseguri, forearm strike, Omega, boom, powerbomb. So we got a knee strike, V-trigger, and we got double super kicks, and almost getting the pin. Clash only has 6 matches. It does make me wonder if it'll finish in an hour and a half, said Big Time Baxter. Nah, they'll get close to 3 hours out of it. They'll get close to 3 hours because there'll be some other segments in there. There will be, I'm sure, a talking segment of some degree. I don't know what we get. I don't know if it's like Bret Hart I don't know if it's like the return of Sasha and Naomi, or I don't know. I feel like there'll be a segment. Maybe it'll be a celebration of British wrestling or something. But do you remember at SummerSlam, there was a couple of segments like that? We had Riddle come through the crowd and call out Seth Rollins. That was not planned. Well, it obviously was planned, but it wasn't announced in advance that would happen. And we also got Drew coming out talking about Clash at the Castle and how he's going to main event it. It wasn't the longest segment, but it still was a little segment. So I could see there being the 6 matches. Maybe we get another added from SmackDown, and then I think there could be a segment that's in there as well. So I think we'll easily be around the 3-hour mark. Easily. In all fairness, they tend to get close to about 2.5 hours out of 5 matches for TakeOver. If you watch like NXT TakeOver, they really give all the matches time to breathe. Don't do any squashes. Everything gets time to do what it does. It's going to be good. I still think they should put some on the pre-show. There's nothing on the pre-show yet. People saying Heyman sneaking in the contract, Drew Roman being for 1 bout, doesn't make sense because all parties should be made aware of possible changes to a contract, says Knight Rider. Apparently, they see through Omega. Oh, it went. Over the top. Onto the shoulders of Kenny. We're into the final 3 minutes. Boom. Planted. Ospreay driven down. It's like an assisted Meltzer driver. Omega in the ring. Is this the beginning of the end? Kenny goes against the ropes. Knee strike by Kenny. V-trigger. One winged. Angel, there we go. 1, 2, 3, and the elite get the victory, as expected. Apparently, they saw through Omega. Omega apparently oozes arrogance. Douchebaggery was a word that was used. Douchebaggery. Wow. Great word. Douchebaggery. Douchebaggery. Feels like a wrestler name. Douche. They should do that. They should have a wrestler called Douchebaggery. Douchebaggery. Douche. Can't be any worse than Doudrop. Doudrop. Was tonight's show good? You tell me, Houston. You tell me. Was this the biggest go-home show ever? How do you score AEW Dynamite? Drop. 7-2-7-5. Dave Meltzer will have absolutely exploded over that main event. He will be in tears right now. I think it will be a disappointingly clean win for Drew, says Brent. However, a disputed decision due to Tyson Fury interference. Is that CM Punk's secret name? Yes. Douchebaggery. Anna loved it. Anna Dawes says, best show I have ever seen. I only wish I was there in person. Big Time Back said, I feel like Liv's title run has been a bit flat. It's no fault of her or the booking. It's just not hitting. Ronda pops up at the pay-per-view. Edward said it was rubbish. Guys, we've got exclusive content. Exclusive content. After the show is finished, we're going to hear from Kenny. Oh my God. Exclusive content. Don't cut it off. Don't cut it off, fight. Don't cut it off. I want to hear what he's got to say. Here we go. Kenny is... Oh, you'll show me what happens during the commercials when flipping nothing happens. Oh, but the second the show ends and they're about to do a cheeky little promo. No, you can't see that. Oh, do you want to see that? Oh, well, you can't. Oh, do you want to see that? Oh, boo-hoo. Sucks to be you, doesn't it? Ah. What's that about? God damn. That's cruel, isn't it? That is cruel. Fight TV just went full-blown heel. Heel turn. Heel turn. Corbin said it'll be on AEW's YouTube. Live? Or, like, will they put it on after? Hang on. Let me go to YouTube. AEW. Let's have a look. No. Perhaps they'll put it up after. All Out 0 Hour this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Do you know what? I don't actually know at what point we're going to get to All Out this Sunday because we do have Worlds Collide just before. So... Did you see Bray show? Do you see Bray showing up at Clash at the Castle? I think he'll be at Hell in a Cell. It's not Hell in a Cell next, is it? It's Extreme Rules. I don't know if there is. Have we done Hell in a Cell? We've done it. Do you remember Cody and Seth? I can't see quite how you get Bray on the card because I know a lot of people say put him in the main event, but I just personally think you end the show. You end the show with, you know, not with there being Bray, but with Go UK. I really think like this is a special show for the UK, and Bray doesn't symbolise that. And I don't think you bring him back in the middle. I think he's too big to bring back in the middle of the show because it could overshadow everything else. I just can't. I can't see how you put him on this show without him overshadowing everything, which some people might say is not a problem. But if you are about to end Roman's title reign, I feel like that has to be the focus. That has to be what everyone's talking about. Is the end of Roman's title reign and the new champion and all of this. And so I can't see it. So, yeah, I feel like it needs to be somewhere else. But it is a stadium show. And I think if you're going to bring him back, you want the biggest reaction possible. And a stadium show would be that. But I don't know if it's not better to do it at, I don't know, Saudi Arabia might not be the right place, but we could have a Saudi show and it could be a big attendance, but don't know that that's the right place to do it either. I'm really starting to get to the point where I'm wondering if it shouldn't be Royal Rumble, which I know is a long way away. It's January, and I know it's a long way away. But you could use between now and then to get everything sorted, film vignettes, get the creative sorted, get the graphics sorted, get the merch sorted, get his feud sorted, get his WrestleMania plan sorted. Like, don't just bring him back to bring him back. Like, have everything sorted. Get everything sorted. What does 2023 look like for him? What's his first feud? What's his WrestleMania? What's the plan after WrestleMania? Who does he feud with in the summer? What does SummerSlam look like? What are we doing vignette-wise? Do we need to film those vignettes now? Rather than doing, say, 7 that lead to his return, which was the original Funhouse, how about we do 14 and we do I don't know, say 15, 5 that lead to his return, 5 that lead towards WrestleMania, and then 5 that we, put in the bank for a build towards SummerSlam or something. And you actually get all of that sorted now rather than, trying to do it after he's come back. So, I don't know. I'm really torn on it. I, as I've said, the closer we get to Clash, the more I think he won't be there and the more I think Drew wins. And I tweeted that out the other day, and it's as true as it was the other day. But, anytime you get to a big show, people are going to say he's going to be there. We'll build towards Extreme Rules, and if he hasn't come back, people will say he's going to be there. I had someone on the Wrestling Escape Pods channel in the comments. I haven't gone back to look who, I don't care. But someone, I did a video for, I think it was Money in the Bank. And I did a video, and Bray had just tweeted out a few things and changed his profile picture. And there was, I think the image was of a firefly, and it had the Fiend mask on it. And everyone was, well, not everyone, but Bray fans were like, he's going to be at Money in the Bank. He's going to be at Money in the Bank. And I said, I don't think he'll be at Money in the Bank. And someone tweeted in the comments, put, he might not be at Money in the Bank, but he will 100% be back by SummerSlam. 100% back by SummerSlam. And I remember reading that thinking, like, I don't think he will, but he could be. I mean, SummerSlam would have been a good place to have brought him back. But I remember looking at it thinking, don't think so. But he could be. SummerSlam was an option because it was such a big show. It was an option. But obviously it wasn't. And I think also when at Money in the Bank you started getting those cryptic vignettes, that definitely added fuel to the fire. But the point I'm making is we've been down this road so many times. So many times. I feel like when it's a Royal Rumble, Bray's coming back. I feel like when it's WrestleMania, Bray's coming back. I feel like Money in the Bank, I know people were telling me Bray's coming back. I've had people telling me he'll definitely be back by SummerSlam. Then we had the cryptic messages, Bray's coming back. We've had tweets, Bray's coming back. Bray's coming back. Bray's coming back. Bray has not come back, right? And now we're getting to another show, Bray's coming back. So I think that there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of fans that want him to return. But I'm just not seeing anything that makes me think, yeah, it's going to happen. I think he will at some point. I think he does come back at some point. I think there's too much noise. There's too many people that want him to come back, but I just can't see it for Clash. Can't see it for Clash. But then it is difficult to go, well, if it's not Clash, when's it going to be? And tricky. Because I think it should be a stadium show. It should be a big reaction. He will get a massive pop, massive reaction, huge response. And I feel like the Rumble is great for that. It is great for that. That's where Edge came back. So I'm gonna say Rumble. I'm gonna go Rumble. And people are gonna be like, nah, it's too far away. But I'm sticking to my guns. I'm gonna say Rumble. It needs to be we're here, Bray, and that's it. We're here. Boom, 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 boom. Brendan said, bordering on 6.9 to 7 for tonight. Probably lower because I don't remember hearing FTR mentioned. They were on the show. They and Wardlow took on some jobbers. They were in the ring for about all of 2 minutes. I don't think Christian Jungle Boy talked, let alone the tag champs Starks Hobbs weren't on the show either. They get told how it plays out and what's happening with it. What would you if WrestleMania was 14 hours? 14-hour WrestleMania. I mean, we'd stream it. Honestly, at that point, it becomes just, can I make it that long? I mean, I've done streams that long, but it would be a test, really. At that point, it becomes an endurance test. It doesn't become an enjoyable show. It's just, can I make it through this? Will I make it through? So, yeah, we'd still do it.
Smurfatoon said, I would like to see Bray come back live, not posted on social media, just for a crowd reaction. Why don't you do Dynamite reviews? I'll tell you why I don't do Dynamite reviews. It started off where I was trying to get the review format sorted. And I feel like it's there or thereabouts now. Like we've kind of got them bedded in. But the reason why I've not introduced that into AEW is because I feel like there's so much that goes on in AEW that I'm not a part of. I feel like I watch Dynamite because it's a big show. And, it's good stuff, bad stuff. It's worth watching. But, I mean, I don't watch Being the Elite, and I don't watch Dark, and I don't watch Elevation, and I don't watch Rampage these days because we just go straight into the SmackDown review. So I kind of feel like I could easily be doing a post-show review where I talk about things and saying things like, I don't know how we got to this feud. I don't know the basis of this. And people in the chat could be like, it was on Being the Elite. It was on Rampage. If you watch those shows, then you would know kind of a situation. And I think that's a fair point, to be honest. I think, you could turn around and go, oh, it was mentioned on this. And then that answers that. But because I don't watch that, I feel that I'm in the dark with some things that happen on AEW. I'm not in the dark with WWE. There's not really any... I watch all of their shows now apart from NXT UK, which is coming to an end, and that NXT Level Up, which I don't know if anyone watches that. So I feel like I'm in the know when it comes to WWE, but I feel like I'm more in the dark with AEW, which is just making doing like a post-show review difficult. Talking about what happened on the show tonight would be easy, and we do that during the watch-along. But I think trying to do a review that is going to be to the standard of other people that do reviews, I have to be honest in saying I don't think I would be doing as good a job. I have to be honest in that. Because I think other people that do reviews, say Fightful or something, I think they probably do watch, I would hope they do, watch Dark, Elevation, all of those, so that they've got the full picture. Whereas I don't. So I don't have the full picture. Did you see the pile driver has now been unbanned? Oh, has it? No, I didn't. That's interesting, James. Lucky Rich said AEW is like 2000s comics. Unless you do read every issue, you will miss some of the plots. Yep. I would do them otherwise. If we did watch all the shows, I would look to do them, but I just don't, and I won't get a chance. Someone said about doing Dark and Elevation, but the problem is, I think they air around like the build towards Raw or SmackDown or something, and it's like, if you've been on our streams at those times, everyone is in talking about what's going on with WWE. It's so much so that even at the start and during AEW, like we have at WWE conversations, it's just very difficult to not. So, like, trying to watch, like, Dark or Elevation would just be really difficult because you'd be watching it, but the chat would want to talk WWE. That happens during Dynamite. Imagine that during squash matches. Do you know what I mean? Elizabeth, my apology for the second Nice Days post. It's a nice iPhone 7. It was a glitch once in a while. Elizabeth, shout out to you. If your phone has glitched a Nice Days post, unacceptable. What do you think about the build to All Out? I think some of it's good. I think some of it's a bit... I'm not crazy about the build to the main event. I think it's the right main event, but I'm not crazy about how we got there. I don't know. Some of it's all right. I think the bigger feuds have been built all right. I think, like, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs. Do you know what? Ricky Starks actually came out and made a really good point. He was like, I absolutely hate the backstage drama stuff because it is definitely taking away from what we're doing in the ring. And I do agree with that. People have been asking me what you think about the backstage drama more than what do you think about Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks? What do you think about the Trios final? What do you think about MJF? The conversation has been more about what do you think about the backstage drama the backstage drama has overshadowed the build for All Out. So I do agree with Ricky Starks that is a problem. I think the card looks good. I think they've built it fairly well. It does feel like this, if this is their WrestleMania, it doesn't feel like it's been built like their WrestleMania. We were told tonight was going to be a massive show. I think the pug segment was big. Outside of that, I don't know. I don't know. Let's have a look, see what you lot think. I might be in the minority here. Let's have a look. 37% of you went 8 to 10. This is what I'm saying. You read the chat, and the chat seems to be down, genuinely down, a bit like, what do you think about it? Was it good? Was it bad? And the chat seems to be a bit like, I'm not sure. You get the vibe that it was a bit... But then you do a poll, and it's 8 to 10, 38%. 7 to 775, 31%. 6 to 675, 18%. 575 or below, 14%. I personally would probably have been 6.5, 675, around that ballpark. I thought this was fine. I think there was matches here that didn't really have any significance. Danielson against Hager, didn't really matter who won. The Roosh Fatal 4-Way, didn't really matter who won. Women's match, didn't matter who won. It was go home show. Do you know what I mean? There was a lot of it didn't really matter who won. Type matches doesn't change anything, doesn't affect anything. It's, if anything, just a way of getting people on the show before we get to All Out. But then, like, the Punk segment, as I said, was big. The main event obviously had implications. So I definitely look at those as being things that, you know, bump the score up. So that's why I'd be around, say, 6.5, 6.75. I think there was anything here that really blew my mind, to be honest. And even the Punk stuff, I'm like, he was, you know, he had a match last week and he lost in 3 minutes clean because his ankle let out of him. And he's now walked out and said, that is me. Last week I was 100%. He's come out and said, last week I was not injured. That's me now. That's the new me. Well, the new him just lost in 3 minutes. So what is the new him going to be able to do in the main event of All Out that gives him a win? This is why the build's a bit... Don't know that that's the right story to be telling, to be honest. Yeah. But 36% said 8 to 10. 31% said 7 to 7.5. That means that 67% of you were 7 or above. 67% were 7 or above. 33% was 6.75 or below. So that's how it split. But the biggest score is 8 to 10. Right, let's get a couple of final thoughts and then we'll wrap this up. Unbroken said, the drama at AEW is about as useful as the mandates drama, not needed and worthless. Will you do a poll on Sunday night for what was the best show of the weekend, Clash, World Collide or All Out? I can't say that I was thinking of doing that. I suppose we could do that, but really Sunday night will be more about what did you think about AEW? What did you think about that show? So I could see that one maybe not being on YouTube, more being on Twitter. I could see that being a Twitter poll. But I think once All Out finishes, the focus will be what did you think about All Out, more so than how did this compare to the other shows. So when we finish Clash, we'll do a review. When we finish Worlds Collide, we can't do a review, which is a real shame. I would like to, but we've got to go straight into All Out. So we'll probably do a quick poll to get a gauge of what people thought. Then we will do All Out, and then of course we'll do a poll to gauge what people think. But I don't know where we'll get an opportunity to do a comparison poll, if you know what I mean. That will probably be on Twitter. We better get MJF at All Out, otherwise I am done, says Real Talk with the King. Do they have flagship pay-per-views? If not, they should, said Higurashi. Do you know what? It's a good point. I don't know if they do. I think they just have pay-per-views, but in my eyes, All Out and Double or Nothing are the WrestleMania and SummerSlam of AEW. And I think because All In really started everything, All Out is kind of seen as the WrestleMania in my eyes, with Double or Nothing being like their SummerSlam. Double or Nothing was their first proper show. Their first ever show, I think, was Double or Nothing. So, and you could make an argument that's their WrestleMania. But either, I see those two as definitely being above the others. Definitely. It's above Revolution and above Full Gear. So, I think that I see those two really. But from a numbers point of view, I don't think they are. Do you think WWE and AEW are now catering to some of the same set of audience? I remember reading an article where it argued Triple H is now catering to WWE diehards. AEW has been catering to diehards since day one. I think WWE are still catering to their audience, but they have improved the product and taken away the silliness, or some of the silliness, which has driven some people away. Now, whether they are appealing to diehards, whether there is enough interest in promos, personal promos, I mean, there are more now than there was. I mean, that Matt Riddle, Seth moment, that's not the kind of promo we've been seeing. But, we are seeing a little bit more of that. We're definitely seeing more focus on wrestling, more time for wrestling. Dare I say, better wrestling. So I would say catering. I don't know if that's the word I would use. I would say that we are still very much. We're not a million miles away from where we were under Vince. It's still largely the same shows. And I think a lot of that is probably down to Kevin Dunn and the presentation being very similar. But there are differences. And the differences are less rematches, less replays, straight into the action, matches opening the show, more focus on wrestling, more time for wrestling, more personal promos, things along those lines. And maybe less scripted promos. But certainly more looking back with history packages, video packages, different places to do promos rather than just in the ring or backstage in the corridor. We're seeing some better locations for interviews. Carrion's comes to mind. Johnny's comes to mind. So those kind of things are what have changed. But we're still catering to that core audience. I just think that we're making it more palatable. That's a nice word. Palatable for people that might have left. For them to now look at WWE and go, oh, that's not embarrassing anymore. That's not stale anymore. That looks interesting now. And potentially convincing them to return. So it's a very interesting conversation. I think you could definitely say they are competing for some of the same audience, but because the shows are on different days, it's not really a problem. I think if you're a fan of AEW, it's all right if you look at WWE now and go, oh, that's okay, I could probably watch that now. Equally, you could be a fan of WWE and watch AEW. They don't clash, do they? You don't have to choose. So it's not really a problem, to be honest. But look, numbers have increased. So it's clear that some of those lap fans have returned because Raw was down at 1.8. It's now at 2.1. So 300,000 people that weren't watching have come back. They must have come from somewhere. So, yeah, I think it is fair to say that they are... was competing the words for the same audience? I don't know. Competing doesn't seem like the right word because they're not going head to head. You can watch Raw. You can watch SmackDown. You can watch Rampage. You can watch Dynamite. They don't clash. So I don't know if competing is the right word, but I do think definitely the product is a lot more appealing than it was. I don't feel like I'm really saying anything that people don't already know there. I say catering, just because of NXT returns and such. A casual Raw viewer doesn't watch NXT. Obviously, that's why I ask. I say catering because of NXT returns and such. A casual Raw viewer doesn't watch NXT. I do agree with that. That's why I ask. Is Triple H catering? I mean, I feel like the shows have increased the wrestling and increased things that would definitely appeal more to AEW fans and NXT fans, and we've seen those ratings increase. Where those people have come from, don't know. I don't know. I've not heard or seen anyone saying that they weren't watching, that are now watching. So I don't know where they've come from. I don't know if they're from NXT, from AEW, lapsed fans, people that have just checked it out because Vince has left and they don't watch any wrestling, but they've just come back. So it's hard to say where these people are coming from. I think all you can say is that the product is now undeniably more appealing to AEW fans than it was under Vince. Did you like the big cast thing? Not really, to the point where I completely forgot it had happened. Until you just mentioned it, it went out of my head completely. So, no, it didn't have an impact on me. Higurashi said, WWE needs to focus on making TV sponsors happy, not the toy company who doesn't want TV14. TV sponsors have more power and they want TV14. Lucky Rich said Ciampa is someone who should be pushed regardless of his time on NXT. He is nailing this enhancement role just like Sammy. Ledger Killer, shout out to you. James said fans are fickle. Joe said, I rate AEW 7 out of 10. Well, I'll tell you what, let's end this poll and end this stream. So the poll has ended and it is 8 out of 10, over 300 votes, but it is 8 out of 10 that has won this evening with a big 37% of the vote. That's a big, healthy score for AEW. So it seems like it's gone down very well tonight. So, yes, there we go. Right, next up is going to be All Out for us. So we will be back for that when it comes to AEW. In regards to W, and do you know what? I'm really thinking of doing a stream tomorrow for Clash at the Castle because it's such a big show. I can't quite figure out in what form it's going to take. So we've done predictions. But I feel like there's so many people that just want to have conversations about it. I feel like there should be some sort of stream. So I might try and do a cheeky hour tomorrow. Clash at the Castle. I don't know what it'll be. Final thoughts, your thoughts, something like that. We'll see. Yeah, I can see that being something. Then SmackDown, then Clash, then Worlds Collide, then All Out, then Raw, then NXT, then AEW Dynamite. Then I'll pass out next Thursday. That's my plan. Hope to see you there. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.